Shows up.
There it goes.
Orcs make beautiful
there
lovers.
we go.
Yeah.
Now I'm just
Cool.
gonna wait for it to show up and make sure
Oh,
it looks and
I
sounds
see
good.
it.
See, like that song's loud.
It's a good
It's
song.
still not picking it up though.
Okay.
Rad.
We have background music, and you guys do not.
You like my notification? Rolling nat ones, baby. Nat ones today. Oh, tomorrow morning the podcast is going on the YouTube channel. Just to let all y'all know.
Rad.
I need a pencil.
There's a bag of plead pencils.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I got caught up working late that day.
Which ones?
The podcast day,
Oh yeah.
that Friday.
It ended up working out with just 4 of us.
Got all heavy.
It was good.
That's
fine.
typically what happens though.
Yeah, there was that one.
Every
where you
podcast.
guys went off on mental illness.
We did it again.
Like,
True.
man, like I was listening to it and I was like, I'm glad I wasn't there. I'd be like fucking like crying like a bitch right now.
This was a good podcast. It was good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good content in it.
Yep. I really enjoyed it. I had fun. We talked about the good, the bad, what we wanted to see change. I created a goal wall in my office.
Yes, Chris.
See?
Look at what I have created.
Nice.
Looks
pretty
beautiful.
legit.
Hey, shout out to the Chris.
To actually doing something with his life for a change and being productive
Nice.
today.
I thought you said
It's fucking
Ashley.
awesome.
I'm like, who? Ashley made this. Who's Ashley?
Actually, I'm gonna move this shit out from in front of me. Just make sure you talk directly into the microphone.
Yep.
Otherwise, it gets funky.
So, welcome back, intrepid adventurers.
Today on All Rock and Roll.
We've been on hiatus for 2 weeks, so we're shaking off the cobwebs and pulling out our dice.
Shit.
It's it's been a fun little break. Last week we did a real podcast, and it was fucking spicy. You guys should listen to it whenever it's uploaded.
Yeah, it was definitely Wendy's spicy chicken spicy.
Yeah, it was.
That's for sure.
R.I.P.
It's
R.I.P. in peace.
So,
Wait, that sandwich is gone?
No, the nuggets are.
yeah,
I thought they brought
Spicy
back the
nuggets,
No,
baby.
Burger King has spicy nugs now.
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And spicy chicken
yeah.
fries.
Fill in that market.
Yep.
Yep.
Spicy nugs. Huh.
They're like,
Yeah.
somebody will
They heard-
fulfill this niche.
They heard me in my calling out
It's like
in the
Whoa,
darkness.
they heard
Most-
that
It was as
guy-
though
they heard
thousands
that
of
guy
voices-
on Tosh.0 and he got his chicken fries back.
That's true.
we all cried out in anguish, and we're suddenly spiced.
Spice Bay.
It's as if 1,000 nugs were yelling out.
That's what I was going for.
1,000 nugs cried out in pain.
And suddenly,
And we're suddenly mild. That's what I was trying to do. All right. Anyway,
trying to make that
We
joke.
ready- Are we ready to play?
No nugs.
There we
We're
go.
gonna
Dungeons
play
and
the
Dragons?
game now.
So, if you are joining us for the first time, which is no one, so hello, welcome to the stream. This isn't the first time no one's joined us
could be
before, so
sneaking.
welcome back, friend.
You don't know.
How do you know when somebody's on here? Unless they.
You have to go on the other screen.
yeah. So
I just assume that
Oh, yeah,
they're not, because
I mean,
most people
I
are
don't
like,
think we should.
"Hey,
Really
what's up, faggots?
Because of some,
What are you doing? You stupid pejoratives. You rolling fucking dice? That's a black dildo. Do you like black dildos? I bet you like black dick. Dick.
Man,
Dick. And
that
then like
guy was
eventually
special.
I don't fucking hey, you're all fat. Except for you two.
who was the guy
you're
that
ugly,
showed up? Who
so
was
it's okay.
Who was the guy that showed up in our podcast stream that was just basically doing like really shitty jokes the entire time?
He's actually kind of entertaining.
It was,
Yeah, it was good.
I can't remember any of the jokes,
Yeah.
but they were
He
like
thought I was
borderline dad jokes.
I
Yeah.
thought I was getting salty, and then I was like, "Nah, dude."
The
The
last
one we just did.
Yeah. You just roll in that 20.
I did.
Well,
It'll
wasted.
Not in the game.
Wasted. So, is anybody else notice that Chris has salted caramel dice?
Salted caramel dice.
Yeah, you have salted caramel dice.
You know, that's kind of what it looks like. Now
Yeah.
that I see it.
Maybe that's what paladins are on the inside. Is just
It's
salted,
just salted
caramel.
That's what the gold ones are his crit fit dice.
Yeah, the white ones I got from the
Wait,
$20
So we're getting
I
dice too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting yellow dice that match your dice carrier. And Jared's getting black dice.
Sweet.
Actually, no, he's getting one of you guys is getting translucent.
Spoilers.
I hope it's you.
Wait, you don't like yellow?
I don't like translucent yellow. But, I mean, obviously I like yellow. We're villains. Oh, I gotta give you your shirt back. I finally got a fat shirt from Chris. So, there's that. All right, guys.
Figured you'd just keep it forever.
No, I gotta get it back to you. My plan is to shrink back into my large and then cut the sleeves off my large and give the XL to Porky. So, you know,
New year,
provided
new
he
you?
sticks
New
around.
year, no sleeves.
New year, no sleeves. That's right. Here I am in a shirt. It
With
says
no
everyone leaves
Sleeves.
with no sleeves.
with no sleeves.
Everyone leaves with no sleeves.
That's right.
Okay, that-
Doesn't really matter.
Just pass it to Chris because your DM needs.
Does he know?
Dad needs to dad
Ooh, that's cold.
for a moment.
Cold D.
It's a cold D. So, boys and girls, when we last left off in Aurok, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
You also looked amazing today.
Aw.
I double winked on accident. I went to wink, but
So it was a
but I had to blink in the other eye. So it was like I used to do that. It'd be like I'd look at her and then like
One, two.
but I'd also jump too. So she'd be,
See, my thing is though, is I'll look at her and then I just look down straight at her boobs, and that's it.
it's a good one.
Because I'm
It's a
just
good,
a monster on the
it's a good
inside.
place to go.
But thank you, Savannah. I worked really hard to put all this together.
Yes, he did.
So, yeah,
So,
Sav, some housekeeping. I don't have my phone, but I've been meaning to call you to make an appointment for Bree. So hit me up later.
Yeah, he instead he texted me
I've had
and
to
was
do that
like,
a few times.
"Hey, can I make an appointment
I've
for
been
Bree?" And I
mean-
was like,
like,
"Yeah, that's
Where
fine."
he
last-
won't answer, so I'll just be like, Jared, ask her when the fuck I'm coming in tomorrow.
Yep.
The last two times that I've like asked her to do it, we just didn't because of time constraints, and each time I had to like, fuck, I'm gonna crunch. I have to get it done now, and then I feel bad going to Supercuts.
Well, here, so what's cool is, I don't know how much I could say because it's like her business to say it. But we're married, so what's your business is my business, and I'm sharing it. We don't know.
Oh boy, you're in trouble.
I don't know how much longer she's gonna work at that place.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not really giving her acceptable hours or a clientele list or really any way to like build a business up. So she might be working somewhere else in the near distant future, or at the very least able to hook you guys up with whatever
Idea.
services are necessary.
People can get their haircut. We talk.
Just have a station on the other side.
to the Metavillains,
Well,
the
if we get-
haircut, the podcast,
If we get
the
that,
band.
if we get that space we want, she can just have like a little.
That's true.
little
Wish she
corner
could
over
just
there.
booth rent right there
Yeah,
for herself.
why
That's
not?
true. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, Sav,
Holy shit.
just-
That would fucking pay for the whole storage unit.
yeah, dude.
yeah, it
God
would.
damn, that would be insane if we actually have water hookups. All right, so D&D. Holy shit. It has been way too long since we played.
It has.
When we last left off, our intrepid adventurers. Oh,
It looks like you have a tail.
it's cute. It's cute. You
Well,
got
when I went in,
you got a cowlick, buddy. That's all.
when I went into Supercuts,
bye.
I asked for the Tails haircut, the Miles Tails Brower. Anyway, now
Yep.
I'm self conscious. Continue.
No, it looks fine.
Figured you knew.
It's not actually sticking up anymore. All right.
D&D.
Didn't want to say anything about his miles tails per hour.
Oh, fair enough. So,
Not as bad as my hair that one day.
Yeah. Anyway, D&D.
What's happening, Jared?
you guys have just left the tower that you came out of, the Tower of Chaos, and have headed back to the inn or at least that's where you were making your way. In your possession are several items that you guys were able to pull from the heights of the tower itself. Gifts of the
That
sorcerer.
douchebag still with us?
Nope, he never
He left?
existed.
No.
Never here. Lothar? Oh yeah, Lothar's totally with you guys.
There's nothing wrong with Sir Lothar.
Yeah, what's wrong with Sir Lothar? Are you mad because he called you out?
Was it Lothar?
Yeah, Sir Lothar.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yep.
He's a dingus.
He's a dingus.
You're just mad because like not
Called
only
us
did
out
he
for like being bad at fucking D&D.
and then took a nap.
Yeah.
I know this because I was there for all of it.
Dude, we were so suspicious of this dude. And then Sir Lothar's like, just let him fucking translate shit, whatever. And then Jared's being all suspicious. And then we're like, we don't
Well, not
trust him.
even that.
And Lothar's like,
Like, just the whole journey through.
Well,
the tower.
Lothar's just like, he said he's going to be a few hours. I'm going to take a nap. And he like literally goes and lays down in a bed. And
Lothar's one of my favorite dragoons in like a completely different way than other ones.
well, he's a knight. And so like there's like real cultural differences. He is he does not consider an honorable, when he is at an honorable place, that anyone would stab him in the back. Like he thinks, I'm in an honorable place. I don't care. I'm safe. I'm going to take advantage of the hospitality I have here. A little bit more detail about him that you'll learn later. And that will kind of bring that to light as to why he is the way he is. All right. So you guys have just left the tower, and in your possession is a cuirass complete, which is like a breastplate, complete with like shoulder pads and like the hip spalders and stuff.
Nice.
And it is made almost entirely of bone, reinforced with a very light metal. That when you guys were there, Rufus actually said that it was his. These were his prized possessions. And there is a long sword that is in a sheath. The sheath is like this like velvet red material and color. It's like a very dark red, like blood red. And the handle wrap, actually, it is separated because it is like a real long sword where you could put an extra hand on the pommel,
right,
for leverage. So like the wrap itself is also made of almost the same material, you think, or a very similar material. It's definitely the same color, blood red, very very dark red color. And the only thing I'm going to say that he said already, and the only reason I'm going to reiterate it is because you weren't here, is he said, use these with caution. For they are very powerful artifacts, but each take its toll. And that's it. He said, good luck to you guys. You have an adventure on your hands. And he hopes that he himself and everyone else makes it through to the other side.
All right.
And that is where he left you. So Lothar is with you guys. He is the classic knight in shining armor. He has a white tabard over his like white dragon scale armor, complete with chainmail underneath it.
Dude.
Yeah, it's got like the chainmail sleeves underneath it that like go down.
Until he calls you out.
Can I roll for smitten?
He won't have to call Chris out because Chris knows how to fucking act. Chris is a paladin. Chris ain't no bitch.
It's true. Remember the last time we did things that I didn't like doing?
You would have been real suspicious.
You probably would have been real suspicious of that guy in particular.
The whole tower was suspicious.
Yeah. It was a tower filled with dead people.
Okay.
So
Hashtag suspicious.
Hashtag suspicious.
yeah, and then there was one floor was like moving paintings, moving statues.
This is a magical tower.
It was pretty.
I was there the whole time. I know
Tons
this.
of fucking magic there. Yeah, you guys decided to err on the side of caution and not fuck with anything in the statue room and just like
Hey,
fucking
do
left
you
up.
remember when I like fucking exploded that demon's head? My arrow.
That was pretty dope. They did find out also that the creature, the statue that's like a moving creature, is an ancient and very powerful like something beyond undeath. Yep. They're like creatures that have power over the dead, but are neither living nor dead. They like are their own weird creature in something that should never exist here on this world. The way he described them is the antithesis of the creatures that created this world, which are, there's a race known as mystics, which are to other religions known as the soul shepherds. And that their religion is currently like on the decline. There's nobody in this country, and there's never really been too many people in the north ever who have worshipped them. There are a few people in the south. The dwarves have never worshipped them. The dwarves came here via their own gods and carved out their own mountains, so they have no reason to pray to this fucking dickhead. However, the Everspine. The Everspine, which is the mountains that run through Aurok, it is known as the Everspine after the god who was named Ever by the first mystic, because he created his first mystic, and then he looked at him and said, "I have created you. I name you this." And the dude turned around and was like, "That's cool. I name you Ever." So
he was like, "That's a stupid name."
And Ever was like, "Oh, that's pretty tits. That's pretty tits. I like that. That's cool." So yeah, it was Yves is the first mystic. There you go. That's all you know.
Okay.
And you know all of this because Lothar is telling you, because that's actually his religion. So he follows that. And so he was kind of intrigued when he woke up from his nap and you guys were talking about that stuff. So he's just like, yeah, that's the tale of my faith. And about that time, you guys are at the hotel, or we'll say hostel, where you are meeting up with your other friends and companions. So, what you crazy kids doing?
Stuff and things.
Alright, so we got
I'm gonna have to let you guys like fill me in as we're going, because
So they went to the.
I heard all that.
So Rufus translated the manuscript for
Okay.
us, and we haven't really had time to look at it. He just kind of packaged it up and was like, "Hey, get out of here! Take the shit that's in my room. These are very powerful artifacts, and now you need to go because you got business to take care of." We're like,
Yeah.
"All right, Rufus, see you later."
He said, if these are sign importance of the things that are to come, you need to go now. And he escorted you guys down so that way nothing else in his tower fucked with you.
Cool.
Yep.
Which there was like a weird like bloodborne
Spoon Man.
kind of the Spoon Man. Yeah,
Neat.
I named him Spoon Man because he's the Bone Man. But,
Right.
you
Yep.
know,
Okay.
come together with your
He
name.
undresses the worshippers of him and disposes of their clothing.
We didn't actually go into this crazy altar thing, but it was kind of funny when Rufus walked us down. He's like, "I gotta go make an appearance," and he like goes into this crazy like church hall where it's nothing but skeleton people like worshiping him because he's the bone wizard, the bone master.
And yet again, we avoided a bunch of shit. that he-
Yeah, they skipped like 2.5 floors worth of content. And I was like, well, okay. That's a dungeon, boys and girls.
we literally got.
We
in
just seem
one
to have an
fight
knack for that.
where we were like, "We're not gonna fuck with any of this shit."
Well, I mean, admittedly, that was like a totally skippable fight, and a totally like you could have escalated that fight into like the stratosphere.
Right.
So that was what was really cool. And I think you guys had like the most fun encounter out of it all, because you had this weird like, the fuck are we doing type of moment
So
where they were trying to like sneak up on the Bone Man, and he just turns around and he goes, shh. And they were like, oh fuck.
So all right. So we're back at the hotel, meeting up with the guys.
Yep. You guys are in the Adam Driver seat.
Hold on, I
was
gotta
the
pull my
pants.
pants up real high.
Can you see me?
Would you do me? I would do me.
Fuck that movie. Okay. So,
Where's our next stop? That's what I'm trying
so
to
we need to
remember.
get on the road, and we need to meet up with Bale, and so I'm gonna. Okay, who's carrying the stuff? Lothar carrying the stuff, or am I carrying the stuff?
You're probably carrying the stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna I'm gonna walk into the hotel and look for our guys.
Bale is like throwing like a backpack, like cross-angled over his shoulders, and looks up, and he like you see like a kind of a sigh of relief, and he is approaching you guys, and Nicodemus is like you see like him like kind of shoving shit in his bag from the table. You don't see your other companion with him. But he's like shoving shit from the table into his backpack. Like there's like a chest set, a bunch of papers and books and shit. And he's just like shoving it into like a military style sack.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Bale walks up to you guys and is just like, okay, good timing. We have a note from Manon. It's like a small scroll. And he is telling us to meet him on the road. We have a short journey ahead of us, but we have to get there quick. And Lothar exclaims, what has occurred? Man, that beer is making me super burpy.
I thought that was a dramatic pause.
No, it's this brown ale is making me like burp my ass off. It's the first beer I've had in like 2 weeks, so that might be it. Well, that was the first beer I had in 2 weeks.
Part of me is like, I'm proud of you. Part of me is like, everything okay?
You know, I have been shitting like way too much since I stopped drinking alcohol.
Woo, buddy. Opposite.
Lies.
Lies.
I don't know what she's talking about. Like I drink like
We thought you logged off, Savannah.
I like how she said okay bye, but she's
yeah, I tried to drink last night and like Amaretto was like I was like no, and I dumped it down the sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like tried.
Waiting for confirmation. No.
She was there. I was like, you should drink this because I fucking can't.
So Lothar says what has occurred.
Yep. And Bale says my hometown is under siege. There isn't any information that we've been able to get back.
And where are you from, Mr. Bale?
I am from Songholm, the ancestral home of the Helfen, as well as the war song.
I don't think we have time to dilly-dally. Let's get on the road.
Well, I'm ready if you guys are. I'm carrying all my stuff already.
Indeed. He takes out, like, he draws kind of like a crude map of, like, the city, which is, like, basically a circle. And he's like, we're going to take this main road, and then we're going to be meeting up with Manon at this location here. And then we will head to Songholm. Songholm, go ahead and roll a d20. Add your wisdom. Actually, roll your intelligence.
It's the same.
Check. Yep.
Got it. 10, sir.
4, sir.
10.
Wow. I was going to give Makolo a bonus. But even that bonus, he's like right there with you. Makolo, you know that like it's a city and you've heard of it for sure. It's an important city.
It's a place and stuff.
It is a place and stuff.
I've seen the little souvenir mugs at the shops.
Yeah.
Songholm.
I went to Songholm and all I got was this shitty beer stein.
You went to Aurok World and they had like the mugs of all the different locations. And that was the first one that piqued your interest.
Dude, Aurok World would be like such a fucking cool like islands of adventure place.
I mean,
Be like
Aurok technically
Hit
is
us
the
up.
island. Is technically the island of adventure.
It is definitely the island of adventure. You guys are fairly certain that the way in which he is leading you is to the south. So you're going south, you think?
Cool. Let's roll.
Yep. Southish.
Manon says we go.
Yep. Bale like basically just grabs every like food and like a knapsack and from the bar and Nicodemus is like gets done shoveling all his shit in his knapsack and you guys hit the old dusty
Are
trail.
you just gonna carry all of that stuff that he gave us, or are we gonna divvy that up?
I'm just gonna carry it. I'm just carrying it.
Yeah.
I don't own it.
Once he gets out of the city, you can look like yourself again, can't you?
Yeah.
You are still technically wearing someone else's skin.
Yeah. But I don't need to after we get out of the city.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you have the capacity to carry it all.
Yeah.
You might as
that's
well just carry
that's
it
why
all.
I'm carrying it.
Well, I mean, anybody can. I just assume that you're carrying the. I didn't even think about the other items. I just assumed you were taking care of like the journal.
I'm carrying
manuscript.
the journal
Okay.
and I'm carrying the
Sure.
cuirass and the sword.
Yep. All right. You guys are on the road.
All right.
Want each of you roll me a d6.
4.
5.
1.
Okay.
You're weighed down by all that shit. I don't know what we're rolling for, but it's weighing you down.
I'm not weighed down by it.
You guys are like going through the gate to exit the town. And one of the guards like signals you guys to come over. There's like guards on like either side of the gate, and they're like most of them are on like basically like boxes essentially. So that way they can like have a couple heads over everybody and are like essentially just kind of like checking goods as they go in and out of the city. You see like another guard has like stopped a bunch of other people over there.
They're
who are coming
TSA.
in with a cart. Huh?
They're TSA. Got it.
Yeah, basically.
Make sure we're not running
Yep.
out with a bunch of shit.
And
Which we are.
Bale whoops. Bale's like, "Oh great. Your local bribe is incoming." And Nicodemus from underneath his hood says, "We don't have time for this." And the guard comes over, and he's just like, "Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys doing? Or good afternoon, rather."
Hey, I'm doing good. How's it
Excellent.
going?
We've noticed that you guys are carrying with you some what appears to be somewhat valuable-looking goods. May I know where you acquired them and their destination?
Don't look at me because I'll tell them the truth.
Oh, we just picked up some novelties for people back in the. I'm headed back to the Enclave. So I wanted to bring some stuff back.
You do not look like an elf right now. You look like a human.
Fuck.
So you say enclave. And he was like, "Oh, so you folks are traders then? Well, then I'll just need to see your tax IDs, and I'll let you guys through. I'm sure you guys brought your papers with you, right?" And Bale steps forward and is like, "Do we look like fucking traders?" And the guard says, "Well, you tell me. Are you taking novelty goods down to the south to trade with the Enclave?" Which is what you just told me? Or what is, and Bale...
I wish Keld could see.
Bale,
wanna
like,
kill
reaches
these
down
guys.
in his pants and, like, pulls a ta-da out of his ass. And he's just like, "Sir, do you not recognize us? We are not petty traders. We are an entertainers troupe. And I am Maximilian von Bartleby, Scald Extraordinaire." That is my understudy. You will have to forgive him. He has got the Down syndrome.
Sorry, sir.
He eats glass.
It's really bad for my team.
We love you, Nicky Jiggy.
Shout out to the #1 hot boy.
The guard
Snake
says,
Boy
"Oh,
229.
forgive me.
Hey, Halo
I had no idea. I was not aware you were performers." And he was like, "Well, I'll have to catch your show next when you're in town." And he's like, "Yeah, good luck, you fucking plebe. Can't afford our sellout shows.
Can't afford
Fucking
it.
our sellout Boston motherfucker." And then you guys like keep walking.
Bale just got real hood on him.
The world building in this is incredible.
Just want to go inside that brain for 5 seconds. See what's in there.
You would go insane.
It's the fucking hedge.
Yeah.
Just nothing but brightly colored mania.
I feel like H.P. Lovecraft wrote a lot about my brain. It's just the void. You look into it, and then you're just eternally gone forever.
But also slightly the painted world.
Yeah.
And then bright pink Cthulhu is just like, what's up, fam? Snake Boy 229. All right.
So are we out of the
Roll
town?
dice. Yeah, you guys made it through the gate,
Roll
like
dice.
just like that. Yeah. If each one of you could roll me a d6, please. He basically just gets you through the gate.
Yeah.
No problem. Like one of the other guards is like he kind of like looks over at you guys and then looks back, and the other one's like, he's like, okay, lets you guys pass, no problem. What'd you roll?
2.
6.
Oh, fucking sweet.
Not sweet.
Please tell me he like trips and like valuables.
I don't have valuables. Carrying the
I gotta find something fun real quick.
my dick's gonna fall out. I'm like, that's not up to code.
And then
No,
it's a
no, you
holder.
guys are you guys hit the old dusty trail, no problem. And are
But you trip on a shoelace and lose 2 HP.
Crit damage
if
from that.
Crit
only,
damage.
if only you were that lucky. So just so I got it right, you rolled a
2.
6.
Have to ask
and you
again?
rolled a 1.
Yes, a 1. I'm gonna get bit by a spider and die. That's what's gonna happen.
You're done. Nice having you, Michael. See you later.
I'll shave my beard and come back. I am okay.
I love how we always make fun of Eugene for the jump, but then lest we forget that I was attacked by spiders right before that.
I mean, to be fair, like
Spiders.
I wrote that down on a sheet of paper. Like that was supposed to be an encounter. Like
The
in
nights I
your
wasn't there.
defense, you didn't like ultimately try to fuck the party.
You want to smoke while you look?
I do indeed. I already
mean-
found what you guys are gonna fight.
I don't
Already
like
gotta
sitting,
fight
like,
something.
This close
Yeah.
because like I've seen him flip through the book. And I'm like, that looks scary.
Should have told him to bring his
That
table.
looks scary.
So you guys set up for camp. You've been on the road for many hours, probably more so than you've wanted. Can you explain to me some of the fun stuff? Are you guys gonna have a cold camp, a hot camp?
What's the weather like right now?
It is probably it is early spring, so it's probably 25 degrees out. Slightly windy. No precipitation right now.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm used to being outside.
Are you used to being in freezing weather? And do you guys have tents written down anywhere on your character sheet? Or
You're-
blankets?
You're goddamn right, I do.
Yup.
Have survival kit and cold weather clothes.
You are fine.
I've got a tinderbox and a tent.
A tinderbox will keep you warm if you create a fire.
Right. I'm
A
saying
tent
I
will
have the
protect
ability.
you from some degree of elements. If it drops below 0, we're going to start making some rolls, though. Even a tent won't really do much for you then.
Well, if we have to stop, we might as well make camp.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are at a decent stopping point. It is. The sun has definitely gone down. We left at noon. It's like 8 p.m. You guys have been on the road probably longer than necessary. It has been sundown for a minute.
I mean, I'll
It's
ask
just
the
it's at that
Balin-
point where you have to decide: are you going to camp or are you going to proceed through the night?
see what
So that's the first question. Do you guys wish to camp?
I'm going to refer to Bale and Nicodemus because they're more experienced.
Okay.
So, what should we do?
Lothar is with you too.
Oh, yeah,
and,
Lothar.
he's the most experienced,
Yeah, like how far are we from?
and he is actually on a horse. So
Of course, he is.
he is his preference is to both bed down for the night and have a hot camp.
Okay.
That said, he won't object to a cold camp.
I'm sure Bale wants to keep moving. But
It's dark and
Bale
full of
will
terrors.
elect to keep moving. Nicodemus says he would like to settle down with a cold camp. So you have 3 options right now.
And that's how he got you.
all right, boys.
Well, you can make a fire. I'm not dealing with the cold weather, even though I'm a dwarf and can handle it. We should set up a hot fire camp.
hot.
Hot.
For the hot boys.
Hot camp
For the hot boys.
We're gonna be some hot boys here in a
There
second.
you are.
Let's get us. Well,
Some
Hot za.
Jesus. Okay. Enough.
Did you just enough us?
I think,
No.
I think
Hey,
I
you
think
fucked up in the beginning.
He
There is no
fucking
enough.
started this shit.
that's enough. That's enough.
And he's gonna enough us.
That's enough Nakey Jakey reference.
Should
Fucking go in the
No,
corner.
it's not. He's gonna be on here as a
I'm in
special
the
guest one
corner.
day.
Yeah, one day. That's our goal. Have him as a guest in our D&D session where we make all of his references and he just hates us the entire time.
I elect for a hot camp.
I elect for a 96 Civic. No. Okay.
Enough.
Enough.
Jennifer Lopez, enough.
So yeah,
You
hot
guys
camp.
have a warm camp. There are about 4 tents set up.
Hot camp.
4 tents. There's the fire. It's keeping everybody warm. The horse is set up around a tree. And Lothar is both feeding his horse and like grooming it, unsaddling it, all that stuff. He hasn't like quite set up his tent yet. But Nicodemus and Bale have a tent that they share. It is fairly large because it was supposed to fit 3 people in it. So if need be, one of you who does not have a tent can also sleep in there with them. A tent is nice.
Can I like
It protects you from bugs.
go up a tree and keep watch?
Like the biggest, like the only real tree here on the road, because this is picture like a frozen over Texas, like lots of yellows,
Like a
light
baron almost.
lime greens, rocks, some grass. Yeah, like that's your element that you're in right now near Volkia. As you travel south, you know, as a ranger, you're gonna encounter lush fields soon, just because of the time of year it is. But right now, where you are, this tree that he's posted at, which is like a dead tree, it's enough to tie his horse to, and his horse is a charger. So it's really like if his horse wanted to, his horse would just tear down the fucking tree. His horse is just there because like it's something to tie it to.
Got so much.
Yeah. So
That's so much
I mean, his horse is a good boy, for sure.
Just sleep in the tent.
Try and keep watch.
You can.
Fuck you.
There is a fairly
I can
large,
see in the dark. Can you see in the dark?
There's a fairly large rock mass that is elevated, but it is going to be even more cold there.
Sleep in a tent.
You got room
I'm
in your
just saying,
tent,
you
buddy?
can- everybody. So here's the thing: we're gonna do watch order. Is anybody going to initiate a watch?
I'll start because
That's what I was initially trying to get at.
I can
but
see in the dark.
Okay. So roughly, you are going to camp and bed down for the next 12 hours. So how it works traditionally is somebody has first watch, somebody has second watch, and somebody has third watch. The spellcasters almost never take second watch if they can help it, because according to the rulebook text, they need 8 hours of sleep to get a full, get all their abilities back.
And Nicodemus is for sure not on second watch.
Nicodemus will volunteer for first or third. Bale will volunteer to take any of them. Lothar will volunteer to take. Well, he's actually saying that he has other shit he needs to do. So if he can help it, he's going to elect to not be on watch. But he will be awake and not have to be riled through the first watch.
So I will take first watch. We can have
Third, if I can recover my abilities.
Okay. So Bale is on second.
Yep.
You and Lothar are on first. You are on third. What are you on?
Me and Nicodemus will be.
Okay. Do you want to take second with Bale? He is the other human who appears to be kind of quick-witted.
Yeah, I'll go with Christian Bale.
Okay. I'm gonna check those coals. I'm gonna check the OG Hot Boys.
Yeah.
Put more cold.
I hope so.
Not the kind that you're thinking.
I think we might need to keep the cover like on it just because it's Ambient, colder.
Wanna grab me my orange cold boy?
Nope.
Yes, please.
I good. Nothing.
Good man.
What do you think is going to attempt to kill us?
I don't know. Something that's attracted to the heat. Flame Atronox. I don't know. Why not?
Whatever. If it comes
Here
on
comes
my watch.
Vines Part 2.
Something much worse.
Oh, you got something saucy coming? Bring in the real sauce.
Border Collie Vines?
Border collie vines.
No, my dude. I'm gonna
Cauliflower vines.
I'm gonna let you think on it.
So, you guys go to sleep.
I'm a CP boy.
Okay. Make me
Blocking the sun out of my eyes in the middle of the night.
perfect.
Sounds like it's bright
Perfect.
light. You're blocking that moonlight, my dude.
Let's see where the lunar cycle is. See how much light you actually have.
I mean, I have dark vision, so
Yeah, but for everybody else, because nothing might happen during your shift.
that's exciting.
Who else wants to roll me D100?
Do I need to roll you a D100?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it, because he's got everything in his hands, and Makolo is not rolling right now.
I don't even remember.
72.
Cool. It is. What is it? Waxing is heading towards the new moon, or is it? It's waning. Waning is heading towards the new moon. It's a waning moon. It's kind of in the middle between half and new.
Sure.
So there isn't very much light to be gleaned from it, but it's still something to look up at. The stars are in full effect. I mean, you guys are quite far away from civilization, so you have quite a map above you. Cloud cover is fairly minimal, so there is some starlight. Doesn't bother you at all. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Ooh, bad. 6.
Okay. You like kind of look around and you see like Lothar has like his tabard off and he is like cleaning it. He still has his armor on.
Oh, damn it.
He's like full dragons. Now you see like the epicness of it. He has like there's like where the eyes would be are like 2 gemstones on his breastplate, and then like it kind of like heads down and there's just like a ring of teeth like all along like the abdomen that kind of like define out everything. This guy's like wearing if
just exactly the armor I want.
So the difference between this armor and like what you saw on like Fellman is like Fellman was wearing armor like with form and function that fit his personality, and you think this guy is too. Like they're total opposite ends of the spectrum, but both of them were going for the exact same thing
Right.
when they had this armor put on them, you
Okay.
think. So so you're looking at that guy in the fucking camp as he is like breaks off his tabard, is like hung it up, and he's like kind of like brushing all the stuff off of it from the day, kind of like cleaning it with a little bit of like water and like salt. And he like starts sharpening his blade, and he kind of seems pretty oblivious to everything that's going around him. His horse starts to wig out a little bit though, and his horse like does that like and like starts like kicking like the ground really hard and like shaking. Your tent is kind of farther away. I assume you share a tent with him. You said you're sleeping with them. They're kind of D20. You don't get any bonuses. Let me know what you roll.
5.
Okay.
15.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead and make me another perception check, Chris.
Shit.
What'd you roll?
Nat 1.
Okay. The horse starts to like move around this dead tree. Like it actually grabs its rein so it can get slack and like moves around to one particular side of the tree, and then just like still continues to stomp its foot. And like Lothar now gets up and goes over and is like, "What's going on?" And like kind of like looks at her face and looks back at you and is just like, she smells something. What do you see?
Unfortunately, I don't see anything. Is due to this nat 1.
Yep. You like are looking down and you're like, I see your horse freaking out. And he says, look behind you.
So I turn around.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
7.
Okay. What is your wisdom bonus?
1.
1. So, and you roll a 7? Or you
No,
rolled a 6?
I added the 1.
Oh, okay. You continue to look out. You don't really like see anything or hear anything. Horse continues to flip her shit. Lothar like unties the reins and then like whips her in the opposite direction, like where you're facing, and she actually takes off that way.
Like
and then
the way
the
that
opposite direction.
Oh.
Like you turn around, you hear the horse, and then see the horse take off that way.
Okay.
And then Lothar says, "Whatever is coming from that way," and picks up his sword. D20.
15 again.
6.
Yeah. And now perception check, and I will take the hookah now and see if it warmed up at all. Hell yeah.
Another perception check for me.
Yep.
Come on, baby. Ooh.
20.
20. Not a nat 20, but a 20.
You hear it before you see it, just as Lothar kind of like closes to your flank. And Lothar also has this hybrid weapon between like a spear and a sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way I described it is it's like kind of a lance, but it's like a short lance, and then like a blade comes off the tip and kind of like goes down to where the handle is. Okay. And it has like a really long handle. So he like runs over with this like nightmare style long sword.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just like over his shoulder. And is like, what do you see? And at first you hear it. You hear like crunching and moving of like rocks, dirt, sand underneath. And then you hear like, looking out, you see the snap of like a tree branch, like one of the dead trees that's in the copse that you guys are in. That's all you get this round.
That's all I get this round.
But buckle up.
Sense of big.
Am I doing another perception check, or can I do something?
You don't need to make another perception check.
Okay.
Yep, you're good. If you're looking in that area and you're like following the giant thing that's making noise,
Yeah.
you're good.
Okay.
I'm sleeping.
You better sound that horn of Gondor.
You two roll d20s.
18.
That's a big 5.
You and Lothar hear it. Like Lothar almost like ducks a little when he hears it. You hear like this roar out from in the distance from where that like creature figure shape in the dark is making noise. And it's fairly muted. Like from what you hear, this and that's it. Dan,
Yes.
like hear some like squeal out in the distance, and you just kind of like shake yourself awake real quick. You are in an empty tent. And your eyes open.
Do I recognize the sound?
You
As-
would have to hear it again if you. Roll me a d20.
Oh, you're looking at him.
Plus
Less intelligence.
10.
Okay. You think you've heard this before? It's like a. You've definitely heard this noise before, but you don't place it on what it is. But you know it is a threat. You just can't place what it is.
Okay.
Lothar says, "On your guard. That's not the wind howling." And he like readies for a charge with his like giant lance sword thing. He like sets it with like one hand here and his other hand here.
Okay. So I pull out my warhammer and shield, and I'm in a ready position.
He says, "To the glory will go us."
I follow his lead, and I smash my hammer and shield together.
Clink. You hear that? You just heard his hammer and shield like fucking bang on each other.
I know that sound because you made that sound before last time we fought together. So
Yeah,
that means something's wrong.
At the very least, you do hear Lothar's like voice out in the distance saying, "On your guard.
I'm going to.
That's not the wind. It's howling." And then you hear, ka-ching. That's fairly loud noise. That's like banging pots and pans together.
Okay, I'm gonna come out of my tent.
Yeah, you like come out, and unless you naturally sleep in your armor, you naked, but you got your weapon if you want it.
Spring into action, baby.
At a certain point, I don't need my armor, I guess.
Yeah, you like walk out and you see them probably like 30 feet up ahead. And then you hear like the crunching of branches and the kind of the ruffling of earth underneath something's heavy footsteps. Something heavier and bigger than you are, for sure.
Okay.
To your normal state?
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
going to assume he's in his normal state now.
I can like hold it preternaturally, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I assume that you would be joining me at some point in the tent, so I wouldn't be like taking up the entire tent. I'm going to cast Barkskin
Barkskin?
Yeah.
Okay.
on myself.
Sure.
The Barkskin, just so I can clarify for myself. Second level spell. My skin has a rough bark-like appearance, and my AC is minimum 16. No matter what type of armor I'm wearing. Now, if I got my armor on, it would give me a bonus, but it raises my base AC to 16.
Sure.
Burned one of my.
All right.
Okay.
Now you see this big ass figure making its way towards you. You see it looks like snowfall at first. Like maybe there might be some snow over there. And then it becomes white fur that's moving very quickly towards you. The figure is on all fours, kind of like making a run. But it is definitely, its back is arched like a bipedal creature. And then you see horns. Make me, when you see those horns, give me a intelligence roll, add 5.
Nat 20.
You are very familiar with these creatures. You have slain a few in your day. They are quite a common problem in the mountains where you were from. That is a Yeti.
Oh, fuck yeah.
They are considered to be basically just a giant nuisance in general.
Right.
You're not sure if it's related more to like a simian or a bear.
Okay.
It's like one of the age-old questions.
And there's only one, or I only see one.
You only see one.
Okay. Can I clack my shield louder to wake everyone else?
Yeah, sure.
Boo.
He starts
Ringing the bell.
Start
ringing the bell.
Start doing the call to arms, as it were.
And like Lothar looks over and goes,
That's what I'm talking about. These guys are always always clowning on us, no matter what we do.
I thought you were a hot boy. All right. It is definitely charging straight towards your camp for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead and make me a d20 roll. You hear it now more so than ever. Do you have dark vision as well, Dan?
I don't have it written down, so I must assume
17.
Okay. You hear the clanging of pots and pans. And then as you like open your eyes, you hear
You know what time it is.
you hear
hot
the
boys.
clanging of an actual warhammer and shield.
And a tent.
You are in the tent.
Get out of that tent.
Yeah.
Draw my bow and be at the ready.
As you wake up and grab your bow, and you're like bare chesticled, you see Bale also wake up, and he immediately like grabs his belt that has his axe and blade on it. He like makes his way out of the tent with you. Nicodemus is sawing logs.
Nice.
He would.
Nicodemus is under the table right now, if you don't know.
Yeah.
Played by my dog.
Yep.
I'm going.
Good job, Scout.
I'm gonna kind of run towards
Yeah, absolutely.
like them
You-
to
you-
support.
Yeah, as soon as you run towards them, you also can make it out a shape in the dark. He sees it clearly because he has dark vision. He can see in total darkness. You think next round it's going to be upon you.
Okay.
You are the only person who can roll on this initiative because you are the only person who can see it.
Nice.
Yep.
So I roll initiative.
Yep. You are outside of the tent with Bale, and now you will roll initiative.
16.
Balls. That's down there now. You said you rolled a 16?
Yes. Pencil's down there with Nicodemus.
Yep.
Listen, I like stuff.
You realize at that moment, that Yeti is fucking fast as shit. And all of a sudden, he is on top of you, and Lothar is genuinely surprised at how quick it ran into you guys. It moves to attack you. It will hit an AC of 16.
I have 16.
You have 16 of those to give me. All right, time to take away some hit points.
So even if it's equal, it's
Yes.
a hit.
If
Okay.
it's equal,
is
it
hit.
goes to the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is nice armor, 16.
Yeah, it is.
That's
They
the
have-
reason I
they
have a
have-
spell to
They have
give me
to
16.
they have to hit pretty high.
Yeah. Eugene, you're about to see some shit.
You will take 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And then you will also take 3 magical cold damage. As when it strikes you with its claws, you feel like, I guess like the chilling frozen fingernails that it just slashed into you with, like tear off into your armor and skin.
All right. So a total of 10.
Total of 10. Yep. So like the idea is like even if you have resistance and you could avoid the physical attack, you'll still take magical damage.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that's why it breaks it up that way. All right. That said, as it like swipes into you, like going over your shield and like through your chest, Lothar was prepared for a charge. And you see his blade enter its shoulder as it like reaches down and claws the shit out of you. And as like the tip of his blade touches him, you see Lothar like set and then just like push up with his whole body into the Yeti. Lothar screams, "Foul beast!"
Guy's the real. By the way, I love this guy.
And he has shit to say about us when he's the bigger piece of cheese here.
I mean, you were the one who was just like, "We need reinforcements. We need reinforcements."
I don't know how strong this thing is. Obviously, it's really fast, so it could be like a magical Yeti.
Well, I mean, it did do magic damage. And that now it is your initiative, sir.
My initiative or my turn?
Your initiative. You do whatever you want
How
to do.
far away am I, Jared?
Well, you moved to him last round, and that was about it. So you're like, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 feet away.
Sweet.
So
You tell me, are you 5 or are you 10 feet away?
10.
Okay.
So he did damage to
Indeed.
the Yeti. Okay.
Yep. You saw basically his like nightmare style sword like go in through his shoulder, and then he pushed it through, and it like went out the back of the Yeti.
Okay.
Before the Yeti like recoiled from it, and the sword came out, and blood is all over the ground now as the Yeti screams both in rage and pain.
Okay. So I'm going to make an attack with my MC Warhammer.
Do it.
17.
You hit very easily. You like swing your hammer around and like bring it up and like just come down right on his kneecap.
Nice. How do I do damage again? It's been a while. I'm sorry.
Your warhammer, I believe, is a
It's a 1d8
plus your strength bonus.
Boop. That's 5.
5 points of damage. Excellent.
Sorry, hold on. 7. 7 points of damage.
7.
Math.
Okay. There is that. All right. Now, we will go to the next round. You may roll, and Lothar will roll as well.
16.
What's your dex bonus?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a 17 for me then.
You guys are rolling initiative.
Your initiative is your deck.
So 5.
Okay. The Yeti is going first. Make me a perception check, everybody.
17.
17.
13.
You guys hear something in the distance.
Well, hidey tidy. I'm glad I woke everyone up.
Probably not.
Horsey.
it's It's the horsey who like
Come on,
who
even
revved
bigger
up.
sword in its mouth.
He revved up like one of those toy cars where you had to like go back and then he can shoot forward.
You say Lothar, say, good. Now will be an even fight.
Fucking dingus.
Fuck knights. An honor.
Fuck boy.
You hate this guy like way more than I do. I just think he's funny.
How you were with Nicodemus that one day,
Okay.
that's me and him.
I don't know, man. I kind of like this guy because this seems like shit that I would say.
he's
So he like swings wide at Lothar now. And totally hits him across the shoulder. So he like ducks his head out of the way.
How close is he to me?
Lothar?
Yeah.
He is 5. He's right next to you.
Okay.
He's shoulder.
He gets a protection bonus from me.
Okay. He still probably would have been hit.
Okay.
18 plus. Yeah, he hit like an AC of 24.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help with that.
Yep. You see him. Some of his blood like swings across the battlefield as the Yeti's claws just like dig into his shoulder armor and like eat through the chainmail. It doesn't look particularly debilitating though. Or if it is, Lothar isn't showing any signs of giving up. All right, next is Dan on a 17.
So when you say something's in the distance,
I didn't say that. I said you heard
I
something.
heard something else.
Yep.
Do we know what that is yet?
I don't know. You want to
right.
spend your initiative trying to figure out what it is?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Priorities.
Let's deal with the task at hand. I'm looking at you as you're like looking to the distance, and I'm like,
The fuck are you doing?
it's right here. There's one right here.
I'll move to attack Spirit Island.
So you move to the opposite side of Chris. So he's on like the left of Chris. We'll say you're on the right of Chris. Okay.
And that's gonna be 15.
Hits.
So it's gonna be D6. Two.
2 damage.
There's no bonus on that one.
Yeah, what's
No,
your
you don't have a
bonus?
strength bonus.
Oh, sorry. 3.
Math.
Okay.
Rusty, it's been
Chris, you are up at 16.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to take another fucking swing at him.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that hits. 24.
Yep.
And 8 damage.
Damage. Very nice. You like swing your hammer like right below its ribs. You like feel it connect, and you definitely feel some organs like shake a little in its diaphragm.
Is it kind of like a Mortal Kombat moment where like it comes in, you watch the ribs crack and like the organs explode and stuff?
So you definitely like feel through your warhammer like vibrations inside the creature, like
Nice.
yeah, as it like exhales very generously when it is struck.
But this bitch is still alive.
Oh yeah. It is also, it is a very large creature, like by definition.
Right.
You guys take up 1 square each, even when he's all like full body mode. This creature takes up 4 battle squares.
Ooh, big boy.
Yep. He's a big bitch.
The Shadow of the Colossus music.
Is that what this is?
No. It needs
It should be.
whatever somebody made like a 20-hour playlist.
Those
Makola the Barking Spider, you are up.
not to interrupt, but are those other coals ready soon?
They should be probably ready now.
Okay.
I
Let
just
him do
wanted
his
to wait
turn.
until top of the round.
All right, so where am I in relation to everything?
You are like 50 feet away. You see your bros fighting this like large ass creature. Probably more like 40 feet away. I'm sorry. You think, given the current light conditions, you'd probably need to move like 10 feet closer in order to see correctly and to get a shot off. But you have that technology, both a bow and legs. Yep, you were born with half of it.
Did I hear whatever the other thing that's coming to?
You did not. You are 40 more feet away.
All right. Well, I want to get within shooting distance.
Actually, roll me a perception check real quick.
2.
You do not hear the other thing either.
Are you sure you even hear us fighting right now?
Probably don't. Fuck this
You're like, I could probably go back to bed.
What y'all doing?
So do you
What's going on out
take
there?
10 paces forward and let an arrow go?
See if I even do.
All right, let's go.
Please don't critical
Watch
fail
him-
and hit one of us.
No, he'll like natural 20 and fucking take out the fucking Yeti.
17.
That's pretty close.
Where is it?
Don't forget to roll your additional die of giant killing.
Plus 8 attack?
Yes.
So it's
25.
6, 9. 9.
Did you roll your other die because it's damaged? Could be giant slaying or
I have Colossus Slayer.
Colossus. Roll that. Roll an additional one. Colossal slaying. Because it is damaged. Colossal plus a D8.
No, it's the
Oh,
same guy.
Same guy.
So right now you've got 6. So roll that again.
His longbow is D8 plus 2.
9, 10, 11. So you did 11 points of damage. Okay. So you guys see an arrow like come through as like the Yeti like reaches up with a paw in the air and it like goes right through his armpit. He like fucking screeches in pain. He almost like kind of like spins around and then he just like moves to like punch somebody. So now it is Lothar's turn. Lothar sees that the Yeti is like kind of like reeling and he like sets his like in a defensive stance. So who is next to Lothar? Just you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're on the other side? Okay.
Oh man, he protect.
Here you go. He protect in a different way. I'm gonna go get those coals real quick. And then we will restart the round.
Kitty. Hi.
Practice.
Use your other hand.
Left him.
You need to try.
Can you move that microphone closer to you? Yeah, you got to be up in that shit.
Be up in your shit.
Please do.
You learned to wink from Carric, I see.
That
We winked at each other, but I just did the Jared wink,
double wing.
the blink.
They're all pretty small. The Yeti sets his eyes on the little guy. Little nug right there. He will hit an AC of 17.
Well, I get hit again.
Awesome. As he like punches you, like through the shield, like you put up your shield and it just like connects with your shield and like you catch the edge of your shield in your fucking face and your diaphragm and your stomach.
I guess he not protecting.
Well, as that like fist swings into you, and you will take 9 physical damage on top of 3 cold damage.
Where you at?
4.
I got you.
You do see Lothar's blade go underneath the chin of the creature, and then it just kind of like goes out through the neck. And as you like stagger backwards and are like, fuck, like, almost hit the ground, you see Lothar twist his blade and like flick it around, and the Yeti's head like spins and flies off of the body. So you just hit it for fucking Double eights.
I mean, I'm glad, but at the same time, I hurting.
Uh,
Can I do lay on hands on myself? Is that a thing?
you can. You've done it before.
Yeah.
It is actually your initiative.
Okay. Is
Make a perception check.
okay. 15.
Okay. You hear a yell, like a guttural scream that is, you think another Yeti's out here for sure. You think it just watched another Yeti die and is pissed.
So in my bloody state, as I'm like trying to get up, I'm yelling at them, there's another.
Your action. What do you do? You've just yelled, there's another.
Is that first Yeti's dead now, right?
I mean, unless it like gets up with a literal no head and starts fighting you guys.
It is
Just
magical.
clarifying.
It is
Yeah,
magical.
that body
apparently.
is still toppling down. Like it's still like moving down to its knees before like slumping over. But the head is like 10 feet in that direction.
Right. Well, I'm gonna take the time to fucking heal myself. And I'm gonna
Sure.
lay.
You just like, surgery. My spleen.
I gotta figure out how many points I can do to myself.
Sure. We have the technology.
Hey, went right to cleric.
It's not what I am though.
No, that isn't. I'm a fucking idiot.
You
So-
should have Phoenix down, bro.
Runger. Paladin. Lay on hands. You can restore a total number of hit points equal to your paladin level times 5.
Paladin level times 5. So 15.
Times 5.
So you have 15.
I'm gonna heal all 15 of that.
That sounds like a good plan. You go back up to 19.
Okay. Well, that means I can do sweet.
Is that's my entire turn, isn't it?
That is indeed. All
Okay.
right. So going from there, also Dan, your initiative. You make a perception check. You as well.
18.
Okay. You hear what he's referring to.
13.
Do I
Okay.
have a beat on it?
You hear it as well. Same direction, just slightly like it's just coming directly at you from like a slightly more angled position. That's all. But yeah, it's out there and it's dark. You don't see it yet. You heard it very easily though.
Okay.
Between
Lothar like flicks the blood off of his blade.
The ranges on this spell. Like how wide of a thing I can hit.
All right. So while you are doing that, if you throw a spell blind, which and I don't think you can.
I have to target something.
Yeah, and you can't see really outside of like 30 feet.
Do you not have
barely.
anything that can like send lights out?
Nobody pulled out a torch or anything.
No.
So-
I have a torch, but I
We're-
didn't pull it out.
Yeah, you guys are only lit up by the big fire that you guys have back in camp. So, and that's actually hindering your ability to see further out.
Yeah.
Chris is the only person who's like, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
So if you want to use a spell, unless you're targeting like the literal ground like 30 feet away, it's not. You're gonna have a hard time.
Am I allowed to suggest things to him?
Yeah, of course, out of character.
Why don't you lay like a trap?
I think that's what he's trying to do.
I could either do entangle or I've got my other second level spell that's gonna.
Oh, somebody's
He's just-
phone vibrating.
No, he's just it's Nicodemus just
He's
tossing and
just
turning.
like turning over, and he's like, "Fucking go bad.
It's like Nikki.
Shut up."
Oh my god, Nikki is Nicodemus.
Yeah.
While you think about that, we were at the hotel and I was coming back after one day, and she
You read.
I'm done.
Oh, you're
got
ready.
it? Okay.
All right.
Story later. Story later. Sorry, I thought you
No,
were
you're
taking your
fine.
time.
I'm gonna cast Moonbeam.
You got it. What does it do?
Moonbeam Creates a silvery beam of pale light. Shines down on a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range.
Okay.
With dim light filling the cylinder. When a creature enters the spell, it is engulfed in ghostly flames. It causes searing pain. Has to make a con saving throw. Takes 2d10 radiant damage on a fail and half as much on a success.
Okay. So how big is it?
5-foot radius.
5 foot by 5 foot, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So you are casting
Well,
this
it's a
on a point in
5-foot
front of you
radius,
guys.
so 2.5 feet, right?
No, 5. It's gonna be 5 foot.
A square is 5 by 5.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, technically, a square is a 1 by 1, but it is supposed to be
For ease,
Yes.
for ease, let's not half
5.
it. It's 5.
It's supposed to be a 5-foot square. Yeah.
I'm gonna lay it down between where I hear this thing coming from and us.
Okay. You like lay it down.
Yeah. So it's just gonna be a
Lay you down.
Yep. You guys see this like silvery beam of light appear. When that occurs, let's go through the round real quick. MTBS. Make a perception check again. Unless, what was your last one?
13.
Okay, make another one. Okay,
6.
the 13 rides.
I'm just gonna suggest let it hit the table because the table has a lot of bounce. So that just landed straight.
You definitely hear what everybody else is hearing, for sure. And you know roughly the distance. Do you move up on your initiative? You see this guy cast a spell kind of towards the noise. See him like basically like go back to his position in the battle line and heal himself. And warn you guys that he definitely hears another.
I see where he casted.
Yep. Where his light is shining, you don't see it yet. But you definitely hear crunching of earth underfoot.
I want to move like closer towards where they are, but still stay
Like
on the
10, 15 feet away? Yeah, that's easily doable. You move up 10 feet. Okay. You're not really doing anything else. So you still have another standard action if you would like to make another perception check. Yeah.
What do you look at?
Why?
Performance anxiety. Much better.
It is. So 15 plus 5.
You definitely hear that creature, and you think it's going to be upon you guys next round. You also think that setting an obvious trap for a semi-intelligent creature, that's very obvious. It's not my fault.
Well,
Hey, Lothar's a character.
You-
Don't fucking embody him.
No, what I'm saying is you, the trapper and hunter of this group, are fairly certain that an obvious trap set for a creature of intelligence may not yield results. However, that said, you hear another creature coming back from the south. Fast. Way faster than this creature.
Was that which way did the horsey go?
Yeah, which could be the one.
It could be. If the horse went south, which it did not, I don't believe.
No, because that went east. I guess?
So, at the beginning of the next round.
great. Where's Bale?
Yeah, Bale has made it to your line and is hanging out with you guys. But that said, like, he is tied with Lothar and Makolo for the
Naked
lowest
and
initiative.
I look like
Yeah, Bale is.
this is a sweet spell. It'll become
Bale looks at you
Yeah.
and looks at Lothar and what Lothar just did and like moves to the side of Lothar. So you guys have like a 4-line right now.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys see the creature now.
This is appropriate music.
Yeah. You see this like large Yeti creature just like fucking slam claws into the ground and like almost propel itself forward as when its feet connect to the ground pushes off and then like
So Winston
repeats
Leap.
the process of just like basically smashing its limbs into the ground and then like kicking off with them to propel itself. And you see it at the last second, like put a foot down and like kind of like skirt a little in the earth before it like moves around this like silvery sphere. And you see it like look at it, like it's almost like, huh. And then it looks back at you guys and it like all mouth just like roars at you guys. Everybody make me a fortitude check.
Fortitude.
Yeah,
Would that be Constitution?
Sorry, Constitution. Too used to 3rd edition. My bad.
14.
17.
Okay.
Nat 20.
You guys are fine. And these guys are fine.
Just out of curiosity, what would have happened there?
Don't worry about it.
Well, he was being very loud and very intimidating. So either something had to do with either like the roar of him or it had to do with the intimidation factor of him. Yeah.
Womp.
Yeah, either he was going to like archer all of season 2 you or he was going to just intimidate the shit out of you guys and
Word.
cause fear.
Here's no good.
Okay. He ends his movement next to Chris, Lothar, and Dan.
All right.
Yep. So that is all his movement because he avoided the trap.
It served a purpose.
Yes, did
It-
prevent him from charge.
It's gonna serve more of a purpose.
Okay. Can you bring the moonbeam back in?
Yes, I can.
Yep.
I can move it wherever I want.
Neat. Moonbeam is cool.
All right.
Thanks, Sailor Moon.
Next is Dan. You are up on 17.
I'm gonna pull the moonbeam right to where he is,
Cool.
right over his head.
Right over his head is also like almost right over your head. It'll be 5 feet away from your
Let's
head.
put it
On his
Put it on
butt.
his ass.
his body. Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
So I'm gonna attack
It is
him
like
with
10
it.
feet away from you guys. All right.
Okay.
The moonbeam hits because he is in it, correct?
Yep.
He doesn't have to start his initiative. He just has to be in
Yep.
in the range. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Go ahead and he needs to make a save, right?
So he needs to make a con save, and if he starts his turn in there, he has to make a con save again.
So 2 concepts.
What is the con save? He rolled a 19.
I actually don't know. It doesn't say what it is. So would it be like my spellcasting?
Be your spellcasting level, so it'll be like 10 plus whatever your wisdom bonus is, I think, I guess.
It's a 14.
Plus probably your proficiency, which is 1.
16.
16.
Plus
So, yeah.
That's still a pretty hefty saving throw to be making.
Of course he-
But
Yeah.
he still takes 1d10
yeah,
for
he still
not
takes
saving.
He still takes 1d10, so roll it. As you hit him in the face or the butt. You slap him on the butt with some moon power.
That is a 5.
Just a straight up 5.
Yeah, just roll a 5.
Cool. All right, so he has taken 5. All right, next, Chris.
Hey. Well, I'm pissed, so I'm going to smack the shit out of him. And yeah, we're going to do that.
Cool.
Use like
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Howdy.
Yep, I'm gonna attempt to smack him.
what about your power?
You want to unlatch that,
What?
please? Thank you. Probably just take it off. and then blow before you
Divine
suck.
Smite and all that.
I have to declare that first, don't I?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to.
So I'm gonna add Divine Smite if it hits.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, it hits. 26.
His armor class is 12, for the record, guys. Like most of you could be rolling like 7s and 8s and hit.
All right, so that adds another 2d8 to it. So I've got. Whew! Hold on, shit. I'll redo that one. They were the same, but yeah, that is 27.
27. Cool. I know who he's hitting. All right.
Got the most indemnity now.
Yeah. You like jump up, like you like put your shield against the ground and like boost yourself up and like bong right in the fucking dome of the Yeti, and like another like a explosion of radiant light comes off of its face, It looks slightly sunburnt on its face as it like roars out in pain, and there's like crackling, sizzling of skin that you guys smell in the air now. All right. After that explosion of goodness, MTBS, you are up, friendo. Blow before you suck. Yeah, I know.
That's what she said.
Yep.
Still within hitting distance of this guy.
It's back. You're even closer.
All right.
I
Yeah,
just hit
I'm
this
just gonna
motherfucker for
draw
27
and
damage.
try and go for a hit.
Yep.
That's a lot of damage.
Nat 20.
Okay. Roll me percentile. That is the D100.
You need a 10 and the 100. So that
Let's
one
go.
and the 10 at the same time. 10 is this one. That looks like the 100, but has small numbers.
Don't come now.
12.
12. Oh boy. Roll your damage. I will let you know how much you do.
Which is double, right?
1d8 plus 2, and
Well,
then
then
you
the
get
other
your
one for
Colossus
the-
Slayer. Yeah, so you need 2d8. Three plus 6 is 9.
You do just as much damage as Chris. As it roars, you see an arrow go through the top of its mouth and like exit
If you want to
out
join, just
the eye
come
socket.
down.
And it tries to like screech, but ends up like
I didn't get any food,
ripping
no. I
the
am
top
hungry,
of the
though.
arrow out of its face. And in the process, like you see like the eye hit the floor. Yep. And as it smashes down its teeth, you just see like splinters of fucking wood from the shaft of the arrow fly everywhere.
I always come in the clutch.
So is it dead?
It is not.
I was about to say, I was
He
like,
now
and then you
has-
see like the overkill from Final Fantasy X show up.
He now has
Down
syndrome.
Make me a perception roll.
Ooh.
You and you.
13.
21.
Yeah. I did one.
What did you get?
No, you,
No.
you have a plus 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
That's 23.
13.
You think this is a bigger Yeti.
This
than-
is a slightly bigger Yeti.
This is a slightly bigger Yeti. You recognize this as an alpha of a pack, and you recognize that as a female, the one that is dead.
The first one we killed?
First one is a female.
Okay.
It is not like a beta or anything. It's not small. That's like an average size Yeti. You recognize this one as an alpha Yeti, based on like the horns and the scarring on them, as well as its like larger frame, as well as its ferocity to both protect and avenge its mate. Which would explain the immense amount of punishment it just fucking took.
I was about to say, after all that damage, that thing's still fucking alive.
Yeah. You also know that if you do not kill this Yeti, they are smart enough to understand and track scents for the rest of their life. And it will attempt to hunt you down and kill you. They're very
We get to the very end of the game and like survive, and then the fucking Yeti just
yeah.
leaps
If
out
you guys let
and
this
crushes
go
the
and it's like
Is that the
this
Yeti
like
from Snow?
one-eyed fucking Yeti cacks you guys all out, yeah, get ready.
Does he look like the Yeti from Rudolph?
I'm picturing Winston's Yeti skin. Makes him a little more cuter.
That's what it looks like.
So yes. Yeah, just kidding.
Is that the Yeti from Ski Freak?
That is what they are looking at right now.
Oh, fucking.
Okay, so we should really just see if he has like a sore tooth. Are there any like elves that know dentistry around?
Nikki's character is not playing, so
This would have been better around Christmas.
Hey. Still kind of.
Still
It's the
candlelight.
holidays.
It's almost three kings.
that was what I just,
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely has the shaft of an arrow somewhere between like the top of its jaw, its nasal cavity, and out of its eye.
You're just hitting all my buttons right now.
I know.
This is all my Rudolph claymation buttons.
Of course.
Where's the guy with the pickaxe?
That's Lothar.
Of course.
He just
Is Bale still fucking sleeping?
Alpha Yeti.
No, he's with you guys.
Nicodemus is still asleep, right?
Nicodemus is like, fucking.
I watched all those shits. Like, come on, man.
Fucking Nicodemus.
All right. Next is actually Bale.
I bet Nicodemus could just wake up, come out, and fucking one-shot it.
Bale seems so impressed that both you fucking almost killed it in like 2 initiatives between your hammer swing and your sword, and is just like, huh, and is still bewildered at how it's still alive. He's just like, huh, and rolls double 2s. Just like, huh. Next is Lothar. Lothar looks at him and he's just like, okay.
Swing and a miss.
Yep. Lothar, like, fucking go, like, he was expecting a charge. So he pulls back his sword, drops it over his shoulder, and then just, like, carries through with this massive sword swing. Okay.
Of course, he gets the epic music for that swing.
Yep. And it crashes down on the Yeti's shoulder and like follows through all the way until like it exits at the abdomen. And then we go to the top of the initiative. Everybody. The Yeti does not go first anymore. A new player has entered.
Oh, is this that other sound?
Challenger.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
Smash Brothers.
A new challenger has appeared. And everybody feel free to make me a perception check. You can keep the same one if you would like, because you heard it before.
21.
Okay.
13.
Okay. Up to you.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Okay. You hear a creature getting closer and faster. And then you definitely hear earth getting torn up. You don't think it's a Yeti, but then at the last second you distinctively hear and like you recognize that as the snort of a Clydesdale. And you hear these like smashing of like the metal horseshoe into the clay, and you immediately recognize it as the Clydesdale of Lothar.
Called it.
Yep.
Hey.
As it comes in and does max damage. As it runs in and like turns its body and just like fucking horse kicks this fucking Yeti in the side of its ribs. And you guys just hear every single rib on the Yeti just like crack and crush. And then the Yeti like spins around and like tries to like grab the horse, and it just can't. And it just like immediately starts like coughing blood. And the horse just like, fucking Yeti just goes down right there. And is currently choking on the blood on its lungs.
Still alive.
It's like gasping. You think it's a dying creature for sure. Like even if you cut off its head, it's still going to be technically dying. Takes like 12 seconds. Yeah.
I'll piss on it.
Yeah. So you guys just see this like giant fucking horse of war run over and like rush and crush this whole like Yeti's side of its body.
Lothar nods approvingly.
Lothar's like, I was hoping for the glory on that one. It's an overkill by 10.
All right.
It's a sick horse.
Yeah.
Sick horse, bruh.
He's just like, good girl. Let's go, Cadia. Earned yourself a sugar cube.
And it just goes,
Get in my car.
Drive to the mall. Get a hot pretzel.
You just
or a
earned
soft
yourself
pretzel.
a soft cube.
Enough. All right, so yeah,
The Yetis are their assault on the camp is blunted for the evening.
We solved your Yeti puzzle.
Yep. You go back to being on watch, and Lothar goes back to being even more unattentive. Now that he has to like put his horse back to sleep and also go back to like cleaning all his stuff again.
now I have to clean the horse again.
Yep, basically.
Was there any reason that one was magical?
I mean, it's a
you mean
Yeti.
The weapon that it hit you with?
No, the
Why I
Yeti.
got cold damage? Because it's a Yeti.
Yetis naturally deal cold damage. That's like one of their abilities. On top of doing just regular damage, they always do a static number of cold damage to you. So, yep.
All right.
In fact, as you go over to the Yeti itself, the bodies, like the temperatures in the air just drop like significantly, like 8-10 degrees. So,
Cool. I'm gonna turn Moonbeam off.
sure. Now you got two, yeah, just flick. You have 2 Yeti corpses just hanging out next to camp.
got some food.
Nope. You know you don't.
Okay. Well,
No, but we got fuel for a fire.
Make some sick fur armor. You want to get working on that?
Roll me survival.
$19.
You do know that Yeti fur is coveted by many leather workers and many people who work with skins as well as furs.
Trade bait. What I'm
You'd
doing the
have to
rest of the
skin it.
evening.
Sure. Do you do that now instead of resting?
You should do it.
Yeah.
You should do it on your own time.
I can't watch, and
I mean, Lothar's not watching. He's just like, I am kind of on watch, just awake.
can't really do that while I'm on watch, because then I'll be distracted.
That is true. It is up to you. I will let you guys decide the fate of the Yeti corpses when and where while I hit the head.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
I'm just gonna sit down.
Because no wait, am I going on watch alone, or is somebody gonna go with me?
You have somebody else with you.
I'm gonna put my
Maybe I'll skin it then. Well, who's it? Who's on watch with me?
tail.
He's competent. Yeah, I'll skin it while he.
Sure.
I'm going to put my Groot hand on your shoulder and be like, "Good work. Thanks for the heads up."
You always know what happens when the hammer calls.
Sorry, I was asleep.
Well, we were all sleeping.
I'll make sure to bang the dinner bell a little louder for you next time.
Well, where the fuck is Nicodemus?
Sleeping?
He's sleeping.
Doesn't give a fuck. So I'm gonna turn off Barkskin and crawl back into my tent and try to get some rest so I can recover some of these spells that I burned for no reason.
Yeah, at least with the 8-hour rest, I'll get all this back. It got real hairy there for a second there, buddy.
I was ready with Cure Wounds, if you didn't. So.
I'm glad that I misread Lay on Hands because I always thought it was +5.
Nope.
It is times 5.
Your pool is your paladin level times 5. And you can heal as many hit points out of that per lay on hands that you want until your pool's gone.
Yep. And then after a rest, I get it back.
Yeah. So,
Like no water pressure in that bathroom.
Nope, not at all.
So I put some hands and I immediately regret this because I couldn't get it off.
Could have just like walked right into the kitchen.
Yes.
Hang on a second, guys.
Yep. But we should either repack it or throw on new coals, I think. I don't know how the coals look. We might just want to put the lid back on. I'm not sure. Yep. So, have you guys decided what you're going to do with the Yeti pelts?
I'm gonna skin it when I go on my watch, since Bale's gonna be with me.
Sure. Chris, the
Hi.
rest of your watch goes uneventfully.
Nice. I'm
Yep.
gonna go to sleep now.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna rest up and get my hit points back.
Yep. As Bale wakes up and Appolok wake up for their shift, putting on armor and all their gear, they come outside. Bale sits atop one Yeti just to like get a bigger like height advantage, and he just kind of like sits down and like yawns, like takes out a pipe and starts smoking it.
On top of the corpse.
Yep.
Nice.
It's just like, these things smell like diapers. That's about it. That's all your social interaction is. You start like gutting and skinning them. After you move from one to the other, he'll like
And
be
I
like,
thought they
yeah, I
smelled
am
bad
good.
on the outside.
He'll like get up and go downwind after you start cutting into them. Skinning them for, go ahead and roll me another survival check.
14.
Okay. It's going to take you most of the shift to skin them both. Bale doesn't seem to mind. Once you start, he goes downwind, though. And just kind of smokes, eats some bacon over there. Like, cooks a little bit of food, stokes the fire a little. That's about it. You finish. You hang out the skins and the furs to dry. That's unique. And before you know it, Nicodemus and Carric come out of their tents. Nicodemus like walks over and is just like, "Huh? Guess you guys found something to entertain you while I was asleep. It's cute.
You're a heavy sleeper, my friend.
I need it. I got a lot of beauty to sleep on." And he like walks over to the fire and like sits down with some light, stokes it, like starts like reading and writing. Your evening goes fairly uneventful as well.
Cool.
Yep.
With that amount of rest, did I recover any of that stuff that I used in that encounter?
You won't recover what you expended, but you will recover everything else.
Okay.
Yep.
So I recover all of my shit.
Yep. So you get a full 8.
Deserved.
Indeed. All right. You guys wake up the next morning. Nicodemus like starts making breakfast for everybody. And by breakfast, I mean like he makes like essentially a pot of tea and a bunch of like bacon. There's some like sour milk that some people have grabbed from the bar, and like probably some dried bread. About it. That is your staple for the morning. As well as like the afternoon. Probably the evening too. Unless anybody grabbed anything specifically that they are going to eat. That is for the most part your diet.
Yeah.
Yep. With that, you have a ton of skin and fur. You have about 4 furs. They weigh about 50 pounds each. How do you choose to disseminate them amongst the group? Because you wearing 200 pounds of fur is probably not going to go very well.
Over encumbered.
Yep. You're not that load bearing.
Oh yeah. Scrawny little man.
Also, while everybody is
I'm a human.
awake for breakfast and you are contemplating that, you guys are like unpacking camp. You do realize, as you have all your bags kind of over in one area, there is still a sword and suit of armor in your possession. just consciously appears at the forefront of everybody's mind. And then that's it. How do you handle the fur? The furring?
If Lothar puts him on his horse, Carric.
Lothar proclaims that he will readily share some of your burden. He will let his horse carry one, and he will carry one himself. And he hops off of his horse and walks. Because that is what friends do for each other.
You can give me one. I got nothing going on aside from my own tithings.
So then that leaves what, one more?
There's only one.
Can I take that or no?
All the good guy paladins were like, give me that stuff. Of course we'll help you. We're good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're carrying the chest and stuff, so yeah, I'll carry the last one.
Sure. Yep. And you're like, are all pretty encumbered. This takes up a majority of like your backpack space.
Sure.
So, were you were not carrying a tent, right, Chris?
No.
Okay,
I was not.
you were. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
All right. He was not, so that's fine too. I was gonna say the tent takes up a majority of his backpack space, so I don't think he could carry one unless he was just electing to like.
He's carrying the sword and armor, so
Yeah, he's carrying a ton of
I
other
feel
stuff.
like this evens everything out.
Yep.
Are we? When we're gonna take care of that?
The armor? Well, I mean, why don't we talk about it?
Yeah, you guys have the whole day on the road to discuss it. The marching order is, unless you guys tell them you want to change it, Lothar is in the rear, walking with Cadia, his war stallion. In the front is Bale and Nicodemus. You guys are in the middle, from Carric to Appolok to Turkyr.
All right, so let's discuss this sword and armor. So this stuff was given to us to use at potentially a high cost. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes. So he said that we can use this stuff, but he did not mention what exactly they would do. I'm kind of wary of it. Can I make an Arcana check?
Do you have it?
I don't have Arcana.
Then no.
DM strikes again.
You can. It just won't yield anything.
Yeah, I have no knowledge.
That's like me trying to explain to like somebody like to prove that like 9/11
probably does.
isn't a conspiracy. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, most definitely.
She's a wizard.
Yeah.
Usually,
she's high on opiums right
yeah.
now.
Usually the
So-
magic casters do.
So Nicodemus hasn't seen it, so
Sure.
maybe I'll kind of pick his brain about it.
Okay. You like kind of move a little bit forwards, and you are like, "Hey, what's up, Nicodemus?" He looks back. He's like, what can I help you with, friend?"
Okay, so the bone mage gave us this bone cuirass and this red velvety sword, and wanted to see if maybe you knew anything about it.
Unfortunately, I'm not much for divining the nature of artifacts. Under a lot of study, I could probably let you guys know something, but I definitely sense power and magic in both of these items.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like I said, divination in particular is not my strong suit. Most schools of magic are not. I tend to study the schools of magic that we cannot comprehend on this plane of existence. So, unfortunately, for the reasons why I am relevant to our cause, I am not relevant in this instance.
Okay.
But if you give me time tonight to study it, I will peruse what knowledge I have available to myself and try to determine anything from it. But I can definitely sense a strong magical aura from both of these items.
Yeah, just I don't know. It gives me a bad gut feeling when he said that
They're taxing.
there would be a very high cost to items.
That is fairly common on this plane. Usually there is a sacrifice that goes with something. For instance, most priests of Ever, they sacrifice pieces of themselves whenever they heal others, because it is a requirement to sacrifice themselves. Much like casters have to sacrifice ingredients whenever they choose to cast spells. It's not something that you're very learned in, typically, because as a druid, Mother Nature gives you her powers. And the gods that this pantheon typically subscribe to, outside of the ingredients, all the other sacrifices are made up on the other end, which is why we have a culture that bases a lot of their religious moments on sacrificing both other humans and animals. It's for the reason why the dragoons are the way they are. They would find and kill and sacrifice those dragoons to the gods in their glory. So, yeah, it's very difficult to find a magical item on this plane of existence that doesn't do something in return, that doesn't take back without somebody having given up something for it in return. People are very selfish, so they have a tendency not to give on the front in order to give others a chance on the back. So all I would say is proceed with caution if that is the case, especially if your gut is telling you to do so. That said, the power that you would gain, it would be hypocritical of me to say that power should not come with a cost, because I have power and it absolutely came with a cost, and I am absolutely happy with having paid that price.
Noted. I'll head back to my point of the marching order.
Sure.
Thanks.
This is
Nick.
good luck. Yep.
So what's the word?
Well, basically he would need some time to take a look at it and see if he knows anything, but it doesn't sound like this is his expertise. I'm concerned. I mean, just like in nature, like he was saying, everything has a cost. You must give to take. So when the time comes, the only thing that we'll know to do is to take the plunge.
I mean, Rufus did help us by transcribing that and then giving us those things. So I don't think it'd be like, I don't want to say it'd be like, why would he help us and then fuck us over?
I mean, I don't think it will instantly end our lives or anything, but I'm just wary of most magics.
He comes from a school of magic that I'm not comfortable with.
Who's that?
Rufus.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think in dire straits we might have to consider our options, but for now we're in good company and we can handle ourselves. I mean, we just killed an alpha yeti and a female yeti with no problem, and this is coming from the guy who nearly died.
Well, you guys are initiates of the dragoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're tough-ish cookies.
There is a dragoon amongst you as well, like a hard-boiled dragoon.
Yeah, we're not cookie dough, but we're not crispy yet. So.
Yeah.
If we're in dire straits, we should consider it. But for
You're
now,
saying if we don't,
I'm sure
if we don't
they'll-
already by then know what they do.
if we don't find out,
Okay.
correct.
I'm sure there will come a time, and when that time comes, come find me, and I'll give it to you. But I don't foresee myself. I will gladly bear the load.
That said, bone armor is heavy armor that you can wear.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
That is
I
one of
may-
the few
I may do
restrictions, that you can get away with as a druid. That said, this is made up of death, but there is druids who do wear bone armor in general.
Paladins don't really do that.
No, they'd probably feel pretty bad on you.
Maybe make me a death knight,
That'd be cute.
please.
I just like the wink.
Double link.
Well, don it and find
What's
out,
the
buddy.
armor and
Story,
what's
story,
the-
story of
What's
redemption.
the sword?
Arthas.
Is it a great sword?
It is a true longsword, which is very difficult to find in my world. So the typical swords that you guys have are
I have an arming sword.
you have an arming sword, which is basically a
I'm gonna put
one-handed
new coals on.
sword. It has the longsword damage profile, but does not actually have.
Like how, like my sword, like how big is?
I'll show you.
Is it? Open the
That's a first.
vent in the room. Because I closed the vent. No, because it wasn't getting warmer down here.
Or it's all these hot boys down here.
True. Some hot coals. So I'm gonna show you what you are wielding currently, and I'm gonna show you a good example of what you have in your possession. Death to flat earthers. Say Wi-Fi around here. It's pretty awesome. All right, what is the Granny McSermon's 5G password?
Let's go Rangers with a capital L.
Now
I
everybody
don't
knows.
even know if it's. It's like I've been using.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's-
why I
saw Breeze Mac. Well,
yeah.
Oh, that's
I went over there. I went over there the other day, and I was like, "What's your Wi-Fi?" And they were like, "It's Granny McSermon's," and I was like, and they're like, "JK, we're using his," and I was like,
Both of them are saved on there, and it will auto connect to yours rather than.
yeah, I was wondering why my data usage was skyrocketing, and now I know why. So I'm blocking all of your shit because I went 300 gigs over last month.
"Whoa, holy shit!"
Yeah, I normally average like 700.
How much
with all
Yuri
the
on Ice were you watching?
I normally average like
I watched
700
it.
to 800,
I watch shows on.
And that's like typically average for me. But last month was 1300.
Oof.
Yeah,
A lot of Pornhub, buddy.
Even on like
Saki.
You have that one.
probably
right there.
Saki.
Okay.
It has like the shorter hand style, bigger pommel. And so the reason why you possess a blade like that, it is the top one right. What Makolo's sword looks like is a Viking arming sword, like a traditional one. The reason why it has that pommel that way is because Vikings. So a lot of people just kind of swing from the wrist with arming swords because it's all that's needed, is these quick motions, like these draw cuts or these pierce. Vikings in particular did these incredible like elbow swings where they had a iron, like it's called a hammer grip. So it would hammer grip with a sword and shield and then close with you, and then they would kind of use their elbow as a whip instead of their wrist to flick, and that like generated significantly more momentum, especially when like they lead with the shoulder. And so they like the actual Britons and that were and Angles that were or Angles that were present in England at the time, or Britannia, I guess, when they went over there, were fucking not prepared for that. There was just a completely foreign style of fighting that they were not equipped
Yeah,
for, my friend. In the south, and what Lothar has a very reminiscent of that sword, except it has a slightly smaller, less weighted pommel and a longer guard. And that is the other sidearm that Lothar has right now. It is this very traditional Norman arming sword, which is still designed for that power move with the elbow, but is a much more graceful sword for all intents and purposes. The sword that you guys have,
Enchanted one.
yes, is If it was demonically possessed, you would know. It'd be like, wield me.
It's not beckoning.
I can't find anything that I'm like super pleased with right off of a quick Google search, but I am looking. Give me just one moment. Kind of like that, except it has a more elegant hilt and crossguard. The wrapping is red, and the sheath is also like a velvet red. That is more closely to the style. Of course, with what I was, my own changes. It is definitely a sword more designed for piercing than for slashing, though it does a significant job of both, you think. And it is slightly longer on the blade and longer overall just because of the handle. That is a traditional longsword. So, a bastard sword is actually smaller than a long sword. That just never really translated over to D&D correctly. So, now we're in my wheelhouse where I can talk about real weapons. So, that's why I redid the whole armor and weapon tree that you guys have available to you. So, even if this was not enchanted, this would be worth an estate. You could buy a fucking house with this sword. This is beautifully mastercrafted. You could sell.
What are we doing following this quest?
Yeah, you could sell the sheath.
And we're done.
You could sell the sheath for literal livestock because of how well just the sheath is made,
Start
and
a farm.
buy a
Let's go.
fucking house with the sword. Yeah, it's easily worth.
Farm rock and roll.
And you guys just start playing Stardew Valley, the RPG.
Yeah.
How
just
many cards am I
just
getting today?
planting my carrots.
Not enough. Oh, game over.
If this was just an acceptable sword, it would be worth around 20 Libra. Because of its high quality that went into it, obviously, because it's a magical item, you could probably fetch a better one. But you know that the average going market price for a sword like this would be 20 Libra. It is considered, it's a very rare weapon. Most people do not make
Not a righty,
long
bro.
swords like that. So, yeah.
All right.
You think it's comparable to the weapon that Lothar wields
Okay.
in terms of value.
So until then, we keep walking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That evening, the sun is starting to go down, and you guys smell like fire, smoke, and meat being cooked. You think you're probably like a mile of a walk away from it. As you close the distance, you see kind of trees start to get a little bit more dense. The like lime greens and yellows start to disappear. The rocks get more sparse and starts to give way to plains that are the grassy area is slightly larger and the trees become more dense. Nothing's really dead around here, and you guys think you're reaching kind of the area of where Songholm is located. And once you reach that camp, you see a few people rise up from the logs that are on the floor, or on the ground, rather. And Mainin is clearly one of them, as he
My
shouts
boy.
out "Hail" to you.
Hail and well met.
Yep.
My dude.
Hot
Oh, maybe
boy.
we can ask Maiden about it.
You might know.
He knows.
You do.
Yep. You guys approach and get a little closer. You notice that there are two other people with him. One of them you recognize, Sverg, dude with who like has like an immense amount of like burns on one side of his body. The other person you do not recognize. Sverg is just wearing like leather armor for the most part. It's got like a cloak on with that's fur rimmed, and has a arming sword that looks very familiar to what you wield, and a large battle axe thrown over his back. Mainin is of course in full fashion, wearing his armor.
Sweet.
He is wearing some sweet ass dragoon armor. Which I didn't write down. So I don't actually recall what color it is.
Dan, lore master.
Actually, I think I do recall what color it is. It's gold, I think I said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's wearing like bright, shining gold armor. It looks fairly gaudy. Like it actually looks like he's wearing like gold until you get up to him and you realize it's like tarnished scale.
So like that wooden figure I have with the fucking lion head armor.
Yes, very much so like that. Looks very, very similar. Like it looks like that, except if like you were to put like a bit of a patina on it, to darken it up and like create shading appropriately. But it almost doesn't have a texture. Very much so like that armor, where it's like this smooth surface that reflects light very readily. So, and it actually, like the armor that he has, like the helmet actually has like a toothy maw for a helmet. So picture something kind of like the Hound's armor, like how it's like black and he has like the dog's helmet that goes over his face with the teeth and everything, except he's like wearing gold dragon armor. So he's got on like one eye patch. It's over the wrong eye, so he doesn't actually see you. He's like looking in the wrong direction. He like moves it over and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on, guys?"
This is how I sleep at night.
Yep, that's how I put on blinders, go to bed. Very kind of more so than not. More so that than not.
You're looking pretty good.
Yep. And you see another dragoon. He stands up and he's like probably like 6'3", so probably the tallest person here, especially if you're just in like human mood or human mode.
Yeah.
How tall are you in your regular form?
Like 5'9".
No, yeah.
When you're
When you're in giant mode though.
Oh, 7'10".
okay.
So he's pretty tall, super lanky dude.
Or do. I spend most of my time in human form. Cheaper.
Human.
He's like wearing like almost full plate. It seems to be like made out of like red dragon scale. It's very textured, almost like very muted, by comparison to Mainen's armor. Hey, puppers. He's like tall, and for a tall person is like at 180 pounds. He's more sinew, and he's a lanky character. You would describe him as. You look sad, pup. I'm sorry. I can't help you. He's got like a kind of like a black pointed goatee and like some like kind of like I guess 6 o'clock shadow that's kind of growing in. And that's about it. He also stands up, kind of does the head nod, looking more at Lothar than any of you guys.
Well, he looks right over me, so.
Yeah, he's just like, and you see like Lothar Do the Forrest Gump wave.
He would.
Does his horse do it too?
No.
Why would a
maybe the
horse
horse knows him?
I don't know if those coals are almost done or not.
Yeah. Probably dump it. As you guys approach, Caster's got like black hair. It's kind of like pushed back and up at the same time. No real style. Kind of looks like Adam Jensen. This is
He didn't ask for any of this.
he didn't ask for any of this. He just is a dragoon. And he has like a large claymore thrown over his back. And he is wearing kind of a, you recognize it as a mountain clan. He is essentially wearing like the plaid ream of fabric that goes across the chest and back, but it does not like connect to a kilt or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where
he
we?
seems to kind of like overlook most of you, and he walks up to Lothar, and they like bro shake, and their muscles flex up. He
Do
goes,
it.
"You son of a
Lothar,
bitch!"
you son of a bitch.
Yep.
Does he sound like Arnold? Okay.
No, definitely not.
Headcanon.
more like this. You son of a bitch.
Hey, sounds like Adam Jensen.
Yep.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And Lothar's like,
Lothar,
"Hail and well met."
Yeah.
I didn't ask for any of this.
He's like, I only asked for your friendship.
And you have it,
That's right.
my
That's-
good man.
That's basically the conversation that they were having. So, and
I'm just like,
Mainon's like set up a large tent over there. There's like
Hi, we killed
another
Yetis.
smaller tent. He like kind of looks and he sees you like carrying Yeti skin, and like there's one that's attached to the horse, and he's got another Yeti pelt on him, and he's just like, I see that. Well, glad you guys had a nice time to stalk the tundra while we were busy preparing for war.
You never know when these things will come in handy.
Well, hopefully they will. You'll have a chance to utilize them. Either, hopefully not during, but after the siege.
a siege.
Yes. And he's like, we should probably step into my tent, boys and girls. Step into my office.
I do the A-Town stomp into the office. I'm going to step in
Sure.
politely.
It's like it's open on both
step
ends. It's
unpolitely?
almost like a small pavilion more so than a large tent. There's a like a table roughly this size in it. And there are like several maps on it and a couple books.
Okay.
Yep. You see like Sverg make his way into the tent with you guys as well. Mainon, you see Lothar and the other person who nobody talked to, or just outside hanging out, having a great time.
Acknowledge.
Yeah. And
You guys were like, kindness begets kindness, and he's like, I'm a fucking dragoon and you're an initiate. It's not my problem.
Don't start it.
another one.
Yeah, we're waiting for another one.
Be honest.
As you guys step into Mainon's office, he will say, I do wish to thank you for all making haste as much as you could. I do not want to camp out here for longer than another night. We will be meeting up with more dragoons here and here along the road. as well as connecting with a large contingent of soldiers right before we enter Songholm. From what I understand, the city has been sieged from within. The music. Yep. The city has been sieged from within, and almost no word has gotten out. I know that the guards were expelled for the most part on their way out of the city, and have laid up palisade lines outside. And he kind of like points to the entrance. It says here and here are their major camps. So we are about 4 days away. I wish to cover that ground in 2. If you have any objections, fall to the rear, and we will see you when I get there. Or
Overruled.
see you when you get there.
Sustained overruled.
I understand it will be a difficult stretch, especially for those who do not have horses for the next couple of days. Are there any of you who wish to stay behind with the camp after tomorrow morning while we make haste forwards?
Nope. Dwarves are known for long distance running.
I don't know if
He
you
believes you.
Charisma.
Or at least he says, after the next couple days go by, I'm sure I will believe you.
Charisma.
Have my back.
And my axe. Even though I don't use an axe.
Let's ride.
So, the information that you recovered from the city?
I'm going to hand over the manuscript. Say that
Okay.
Rufus was able to translate this.
And did you collect any information? Oh, ruh-roh. We have visitors. It will, Saying, did you collect any information on the king's remaining bloodline?
Did we?
Some were dead. I think one or not. Nobody knows the whereabouts.
Yeah, and there's a bastard son of the king
Okay.
named Maddox, who's 23. And Brant was searching through all of the royal information to try to find more information about Maddox.
Interesting. So Maddox is the only bastard you found information on?
So far.
Okay. Well, have you heard any information about Magnus or Macy? The king's 2 remaining children?
Dead.
Yeah.
They've been slain.
Interesting. And unfortunate. Maddox is a free spirit, but I don't think he would betray his king, especially his father. He was not treated to the life of wealth that Mikhail or the legitimate son and daughter, Macy and Magnus, were. But I hope he can be found and made safe at the very least. There is, unfortunately, another son that we must discuss. I know of this child because I was handed him when he was born. I was told to make him disappear. And I thought I did in the city of Songholm. I have kept tabs on this child. His birth name was Mason. I do not know what he goes by now.
Really take these M's, don't they?
The royal bloodline typically names each succession in a similar naming convention. That is correct. And it is because typically they go to war every time a king is named. So, Magnus, Maddox, Mason, whatever. One of them's king. Who cares? Is the common tongue. You know, that's the common populace. So long as it's recognizable that one of the king's sons is in power and that a legitimate heir is in power, no one is generally cared. Usually it's the heir that the dragoons back who makes it to the top. But it doesn't help to have the rapport of the other houses, especially that of House Black, which maintains control over the city. So I've heard the first reports from the other fronts in which people have found out that or heard rumors of the king's death. I'm doing my best to hush them. Unfortunately, in my years of checking up on Mason, it was discovered that he himself was a warlock who gained his powers from the hedge, not unlike your companion Nicodemus, who stands beside you. And Nicodemus is like, "Hey, way to put me on the spot."
Stop.
And he says, "In fact, if it wasn't for Nicodemus, I wouldn't have been able to gather that much information or keep tabs on him. He's been inactive for many years." Can you take the head off? Thanks. He's been inactive for several years. I was hoping he was dead, and he was nothing more than just a street urchin bastard to be killed and forgotten. But his link to the hedge is a little bit too coincidental. If you find him within the city or encounter a Mason, bring him down. Do not wait, especially if he is surrounded by one of these unholy hosts of the hedge.
All right, understood.
Other than that, we plan to get there in 2 days. We will breach the gates, and we will push them back to where they came from.
Let go.
This is our counterattack for the king. Make them feel the losses that we felt.
Dilly dilly.
dilly dilly.
Bit of misery. Dilly dilly.
Do you separate the coals a little? I am that as well. All right. He says, "I know you guys have traveled fast and hard, so I will manage the watches this evening. You guys get as much rest as you need. Supplement the watches you see fit."
Fun.
What are you asking about?
You think he would know about those gifts?
You guys can ask him.
You're just gonna ask everybody.
Take out the nice shiny bone armor and the long sword. He will take the sword out of the sheath and like hold it in his hands like this. And this is a weapon of war. It is very nice. And he sheaths it, hands it back. He looks at the cuirass and says, "I have seen this before."
Where have you seen this before?
I would suspect on the same person you got it from. Rufus. This was his personal armor.
Oh,
He wielded it in his engagements against the king before Jorn brought him in. And when Jorn brought him in, he was wearing it as well.
Well, he's wearing it that whole time. It can't be that dangerous.
He was a formidable adversary. I do not recall that blade, but that armor in particular, I remember. It stunted my own blades against it.
All right.
Not doing it.
When the time comes.
It's bone.
It is indeed. It is very well made. as well.
All right, cool. Well, are we gonna-
Considers the expressions that you get is like a form of respect for the armor, but like when he goes to the sword, it's like he's looking at a work of art.
So he doesn't
Blow before you suck. It is warm. He does not recognize the sword, but he does regard it as a more of like a work of art.
Do we want to take one coal off, or
Well, yeah, it's up to Makolo. Okay.
just asking? Damn. All right, fine. Shit. Fuck.
God damn, dude.
Sorry, I'm going after Lothal. Rubbing off on me.
Yep.
Right, so do we rest up and head out?
Yep.
Lothar is up on first watch. They're with the Dragoon in red. They're talking back and forth. The Dragoon in red has another warhorse as well, and it is actually draped in dragon scale armor and has like this like crested giant horn where its head is, like red dragon armor barding. They're just like talking about football.
Did you blow?
Jesus, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, blow, did
Got your baby lungs on.
How do I acquire a lot more arrows? I mean, I'm good right now. I have like 23.
Well, unless you have the skill Boyer, it will be very difficult to make some now.
This
You
is
are-
more a general question.
They're fairly easy to attain. Either you make them yourself or find somebody who is skilled in the profession of making them, or you go to the city and you pick some up, or town.
All right.
You can typically find like them in a hunter's lodge in smaller towns, and especially if they know of you in an area and get a rapport with you, they will have some ready to sell you. That has been your experience in the past. So kind of depends on the amenities of every village that you walk into. But if you were to go into a city, which even though that's not your preference, you will find them quite easily. Yep. They're readily available and they are fairly inexpensive unless you were to get a particular type of arrow. There are several different types of arrows that you could
That's just
find
burnt
and
now.
spend plenty of money on. Oh, I guess it's just the hot hookahs for the hot boys over
back to
here.
you.
Yep. There is a signaling arrow that you could purchase. It's fairly expensive though because there's more metal goes into its craftsmanship. But there's like a bulb that's like hollowed out, and the bulb, when you fire it into the air, creates a whistling effect that alerts people that something has occurred. It's like a signaling arrow. You can find armor piercing arrows as well as flesh cutter arrows. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what you have is just simple iron tip arrows.
Deadly in
Yeah.
at
The mo-
times.
You could probably hit somebody with a bulb arrow and it would be deadly. And that's like a literal blunted arrow. So, does anybody wish to do anything in camp this evening?
I really need to rest.
Okay.
So, maybe before I go into resty time, maybe I'll go introduce myself to Red Dragon.
Sure. You walk over to the dragoon, who is taller than you at this point, and he extends his hand readily and shakes yours and says, "Greetings. I am Castor."
I'm sorry,
Castor.
Castor. Nice to meet you. My name is Carric.
It is nice to meet you as well.
So, you,
It's real.
yeah. How long have you been in the king's service?
I've been in the service of the dragoons for 10 years. I serve in the same order as Lothar.
Great. So, how well do you know Lothar?
Well enough to serve my life alongside his own.
Sounds
We are brothers, even closer than I am with the other dragoons.
Hmm. This
We serve the Emperor and ever. You notice that he referred to the king as Emperor.
yeah.
It's
So-
weird.
So yeah, why Emperor instead of King Jordan?
King is a title of the North. Emperor is an educated man's title.
Hmm.
To us, he is Emperor of all of Aurok, as well as the land he has conquered in Drayton, and the land that his ancestors conquered on the mainland. He is our liege, spiritually and physically. The only other person who commands our arm is the leader of our order, Mainin.
Wow.
And of course, our deity.
Wow. Cool.
If you sit and talk
Big
with
goals,
him,
huh?
do you choose to sit and talk with him for a while?
Yeah, it's just for a little bit.
Sure,
Trying to generate some rapport.
he-
I don't
he
really know what I
will-
want to talk about.
He will explain after a while that his order believes kind of in their own version of manifest destiny for what they refer to as their imperium, but what you see as just the kingdom of men.
Making sure you leave.
He sees themselves in the South, their order of the Southern Knights, as just another extension of that manifest destiny of the South. And like you get that they have a very different outlook than many other knightly orders in the South, who generally put like country gods, whatever gods they may be, and king in that order. And then like people are like at the very bottom of that totem pole. They generally are.
Okay. After I talk with him for a while, I'm going to say, well, sorry, but the journey's taken a lot out of me. I need to recover my abilities.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you, Caster. All right, so I'm going to go rest up.
Yep. And you can choose to be privy for that conversation or not.
No, I
Okay.
think when he goes to that conversation, I find are there trees around us, right?
Yes,
Like we're in a
definitely.
foresty kind of area.
It's lighter, but as you like look down the road, you notice that it does get heavier.
Okay, so I'm still within earshot of the camp, but I kind of seclude myself away.
Sure.
And start cleaning all of my gear and sitting and meditating.
Okay. Start to prayer. You're in camp. You hear him talking with the new dragoon, which you overhear. His name is Caster, and Lothar is doing his normal thing, grooming the horses, setting up his armor, cleaning it, all that stuff. And you see Nicodemus is like sitting down by the fire and has started to like look at your items and analyze them, and he's like casting little spells, you think, with his hands, and going over notes in his book and is writing stuff down. You also see Bale's like making food alongside Sverg. Mainin appears to be kind of loading a lot of his stuff into a chest, and then goes and like puts it on a cart nearby that has a horse. Seems to kind of be like packing preemptively. And after that, Mainin takes off his helmet and sits down by the fire and starts eating as well. What do you like to do?
I go sit near Nicodemus, so if he says anything interesting about the
Sure.
here, or if he wants to tell me.
There's a lot of like a lot of that going on. That is like for the most part all you get. It's been a couple hours. What's your plan?
Well, if everyone's still by the fire eating,
Yeah.
I could join them.
Yeah, it's like just now starting to get to like what will be the start of the first shift on watch soon.
Yep.
So Dan is like just now exiting the conversation of like philosophically what these other dragoons believe in and what they do and how they're different from the rest.
I think everyone just seems to kind of gravitate towards the fire, food, and I do the same.
Yeah. It's plenty of bacon.
Plenty of bacon.
Yep.
Plenty
Bacon.
of fucking bacon.
Bacon, bread, and what you think is what goes for tea out here. So it's like mashed leaves. I will take a beer, whatever you hand me.
Yeah, same.
Uh,
I sit peacefully, quietly, don't really say a word.
Sure. Nicodemus like closes his books, like snap, and then like kind of like puts them down, just like stretches out and starts eating with you guys as well.
So he joined in with this?
Yeah, he was sitting by the fire the whole time.
Yeah, but now he's
eating. Yeah, and he's like
So-
being a normal person.
You learn anything, Nicodemus?
Not a damn thing. I am not equipped to do this, friends. The only thing I know is I started doing a little bit more research on the Curus, since that is since Manon gave me a lead to go off of. And what I found is stuff you basically already knew. Rufus wears it. Wore it. Led several forays into the kingdom. Pissed off a lot of different people. And then once he became allied with the king and a guest in his city, stopped wearing it. The only passage I read that's of any interest to me specifically is he who fears not death shall never fear anything as long as this cuirass is wrapped around their body. It's the only note I have.
You want to wear it now?
Might not be a good choice for me to wear it.
Do you fear death?
I don't fear death as much as I still feel like I have something to do with my life. So in a roundabout way, yes, I don't want to die because I have something to do, greater purpose.
Bale will pipe up and say, if it will help me free Songholm, I will volunteer to take up both arms and armor.
Since he is willing to pay the price of whatever may come from that, we can't stop him.
But it is out.
I mean, if he wears it.
No, but we don't have to give it to him.
Right.
He volunteers to
Yeah.
take it off of your hands.
I don't know, Rufus just gave it to us. And he didn't just give us, like, leather armor and another arming sword.
What do you think?
Whatever the party desires.
You're not going to use any of it, right?
I am not.
You would only use the armor.
You, the person whose faith is so strong that you would have no fear of death. And you'd be unstoppable.
But it's bone.
What is wrong with it being bone?
It comes from a dark place.
I can't wear the armor, right?
Oh.
What? It's heavy armor, right?
Heavy.
You can technically wear this armor. Nicodemus will like raise it up. Like this is significantly lighter and is not designed to hamper spell casting abilities. Case in point, Rufus is a necromancer and was able to cast spells while wearing it. So there is that we can use deduction for. Alternatively, I can also tell you that these are genuinely human bones. I can take this a step further if you would like, but it will cost you in order to find out.
What are we talking about, Nicodemus?
I do not know if it will cost Teeth of the Forgotten. It could cost weight in gold. It could cost anything. The demons that I consort with on the hedge ask for whatever their heart desires. Sometimes it's blood. Sometimes it's iron. I don't know.
Find out and let us.
You will know once I summon this demon.
And then we will have to pay.
The demon is contained. Like, he speaks up and he's just like, the demon is contained. Like, I consort with these demons on the reg. It's how I get my powers. Like, you're not going to be in any mortal danger unless you for realsies are like, yeah, totally going to give you my soul. In which case, if you don't give your soul up for power like I did, then you're fucking doing it wrong.
I think that
If you're not I'd be interested in wearing it if nobody else is going to.
I'm saying I'm not going to wear it right now. There's no reason for me to. I'm gonna hold on to it.
You're like,
And
no
give
one gets it now.
Exactly. No one's gonna get it because nobody can decide what the hell they want to do with it. So, unless anybody objects, I'm gonna give it to Bale when we get to Songholm, or I'm gonna put it on.
Bale will say, I do not object.
Because this is Bale's home.
We could have found out what it does.
We'll find out when we put it on Not the Party. So.
Oh boy, that's selfish, Nicodemus says
Yeah.
out loud.
Bale's kind of strong.
Sure.
Don't want to.
And he'll get even stronger, and then he'll
Or he could die.
And then he'll
Allegedly.
guys for us.
Bale, like, seems unfazed by this conversation that you guys are having right in front of him. But Nicodemus is just like, he is my friend, and I will hold you accountable if you decide to use him as a guinea pig.
I'm not interested in using him as a guinea pig. It's he volunteered to do this, so
Yes, because none of you have the stones to do so.
Look, I'm trying to find out what this thing is
Sav,
about.
Flowers is like 100 miles away.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
find
as far
out
as you
what this
guys
is
know,
about.
Flowers is pretty. He's a couple days ride that away.
Then I'll go with Nicodemus and get this demon.
Nicodemus says, if you would like to find out, I can summon the demon right here in camp.
Are there any repercussions if we do not accept their price just for summoning them?
No. I mean, I expend the resources and am willing to do so to attempt to initiate a bargain with this extraplanar creature.
Well, then I don't see anything
Yeah.
wrong with a conversation.
Yeah. Talking to a demon, see what he knows. And you're the only one that objects. He's
I'm
with
just
you.
ready to get going.
With just like a hand in my
Yep.
face, and I'm just like, just for God's sake, just
Summon the demon. Do it.
Lothar and
Yeah, because I'm tired of this.
Lothar and Caster are like, yeah, we're not going to be a part of any demon summoning. We're going to go to sleep.
Yeah, like I'm going to bed.
All right, go to bed.
Manon is just
I
like,
throw the bone armor down at you, or Nicodemus has it anyway. So I'm just gonna be like, "You guys do what you do. I'm going to bed, man."
On with the show.
very well, I will get started. And he like starts to like create a circle with like a twig, and he starts like putting in all these runes in the ground. And,
I want you to know that while this is happening, I am nestled.
Go
warmly.
for it. Go get your
Hey.
points back.
I'm warmly in my tent.
he like takes out like this very green, vibrant looking leaf, and sets this like onyx gemstone down in the middle of the circle. And he like lets it drop, and like as it falls closer in the middle of the circle, it starts to like turn black and brown and rot right away. And he like grabs it right before it touches the ground, and he starts like whispering some words. And like,
Klaatu,
yeah.
Brata.
Hey, you're fucking asleep. You go,
Enough.
you go fucking metagame in your tent, you dickhead.
I'm
You
clowning
object-
on him from the
you
tent.
object, you object
he's
over
peeking
there.
out of his tent.
Yeah, yes.
Klaatu,
Hey,
Brata,
you guys summon a demon?
Nictu.
You guys have proof about me? Are you guys having a role playing experience that's cool without me? Okay.
Stop it.
And
I'm just ready to kill some shit.
Keld's over here watching the demon summoning.
Keld's not here.
Keld isn't here.
Mainin is here.
I was trying.
If he was, he'd be in my tent.
But yeah, Mainin's like interesting. Like he's like stroking like the white whiskers on his face as this is all going down. He's like on the other side of the fire, just like eating bacon while this is going down. Meanwhile, there's
Love
like
bacon.
epic music on the other side of the camp, like it's like, and then like all of a sudden, like Nicodemus lifts his hands up like this, and like the onyx stone starts to rise, and then it just falls. And when it crashes to the ground, like there's like a ripple in the sand all the way out, and then it ripples back, and the onyx stone starts to turn white. And a strong gust of wind comes through the camp. And then these green and black lights erupt from the stone. And like there's this black fire coming from within the circle.
What kind of metal this is?
You see a
I don't because I'm fucking asleep.
that's right. Go role play your sawing logs. So the paladin Turkyr witnessing did you stay there?
I sure did.
All right, is witnessing the unholy summons of this hedge demon. And you're just like right there with Nicodemus, just like, oh, that's cool.
I've never seen a demon summon.
Bales on the other side, like, that is cool. And like the flames erupt, and you see this like humanoid figure that's probably like a little shorter than you almost, but he seems to be kind of like hovering a little off the ground in the flames with his hands extended. And even though like he's covered in shadows and these like wreaths of like orange, black, and green flames flicker, and whenever they flicker, you see like as if like he had light shown on him. And you see this like bone helmet kind of go over what appears to be this elven figure's face. You see his piercing violet eyes stare through everyone there. His armor is like that of another creature. He's encompassed in like fur, bone, and as well as other like bronze and copper alloys. And he just kind of opens his mouth, and you guys hear this undiscernible like guttural like, and you hear like Nicodemus like and he like breaks out a book, and he's just like, Hexnu Duathu
Sitting there, like-
Vates, and like the like Vate, like the other character, the other guy's just like, and then and he's just like, oh, fuck.
It's fucking. Can you hear me now?
Karada Nexima, and like the flames like die down around him, and his feet touch the ground, and there are no more like flames erupting from within the circle. And you see the figure as I described it, just minus the fire around him. And then it says, "Why have I been summoned, human?"
What's up, fam?
Yep. How y'all doing? No, he just simply says in another otherworldly voice, in the same sense as his other one was like, sounded like a demon was speaking. He just, "Why have you summoned me, human? And what offering have you brought me?" And Nicodemus like, "Well, we summoned you. We summoned you because
That was a pro.
we have these things,
regret is setting in.
and we would like to know what they are.
I'm having fun.
As far as offerings,
Nothing. You have nothing.
Got a bunch of Yeti fur.
do you like take out some Yeti fur?
give him that. And so, give him the one I have and
Sure.
some.
You like take out the Yeti. Well, it's all yours technically. You're the one who did all the work.
The one that I have.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
like take the Yeti fur out of the backpack and you like bring it over and you roll it out. And it says, "This will do. Your audience has been granted." And he like flicks his hand and it like goes into the circle.
Okay, you shocking me on camera.
I would like a hookah, please, when you are done.
How'd that make you feel?
Good old finger circle.
Well,
Got your ass.
let me erase this Yeti fur.
And add a finger circle, because I'm gonna punch the shit out of you.
So,
Nikki, do you want to go to a football game Sunday?
The last thing you want to do is
catch a nosebleed.
I'd rather.
So, you guys have this demon here, and Nicodemus like looks around and he's like got the stuff and he's like, "All right, you made the offer. Granted you the audience.
All right.
It's
Well,
up to you, boys. Bring it home. You're on the same team."
I just kind of staring off and then
We
I just,
summoned
I
you.
just pick up the items and just like drop it
Yeah.
right in front of him
because we want to know.
It's you, dude. It's you.
We want to know
You just have your cross.
about these items, what they will do to the wearer.
Interesting. Hand them to me. He like extends his hand and Nicodemus is like,
I think you can just look at it from here.
"I can, but I do see much better with my hands."
Does this demon have eyes on his head? It's just like.
He looks kind of like an elf.
Fucking Del Toro, motherfucker.
Do we need to put him back in
I'm
there?
sorry, I'm a slave. I'm just gonna heckle from.
You're peering from your tent. Like, what are you doing?
Nicodemus, thought you said you knew how to do this.
Yeah, I'm literally.
I did. I summoned the demon. Now you guys got you guys got an audience. Ask questions. Like, it's a demon. You gotta talk through this shit.
Yeah.
Your turn. Circle. Them's the rules.
Them's the rules.
Well, I'm gonna get like closer to the circle so
Sure.
you can see it better.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go past the circle
Sure.
or have my arms
Yeah,
go
yeah,
past
yeah.
the circle.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm gonna do the Price is Right.
Yeah. Behind door number 1.
Da-da-da-da.
Yep. Interesting.
And if he grabs it, boom, 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 boom.
You can't reach out.
Well,
He's bound.
I tell you what,
I
we'll
audible
play by
sigh
the
from the
rules
tent.
of the planes in which these items were wrought. So,
What?
give me a sacrifice of life, and I will tell you what the item of death is. Give me a sacrifice of golden iron, and I will tell you what the blade is.
From the tent, I heckle. You ain't got either of those, do you?
You can take that motherfucker.
His life. That'll do.
You want to do this?
You want to go sacrifice a party member?
I pull out the hammer. I'm like, round 1. Let's go.
You see Bale pull out like a bag of jingle jangles, like a significantly large bag too, like one the size of like my dice bag, my Crown Royal dice bag, and he like throws it into the circle, and it hits the ground, and says, "That is almost a serviceable offering of golden iron. What else do you have?"
I've got, what is it? SP silver, right?
Yes.
Silver, and I have like, and copper.
I'm gonna like angry girlfriend and sit at the edge of my tent with my arms crossed.
Of course you are.
I'm just gonna be like,
Throw in your other Yeti fur.
That's neither life nor iron and gold. It's technically your fur. I
You,
throw,
like,
it,
take
throw
it.
it into the circle.
And like it like crosses the threshold and hits the ground. That is not the gold or iron price I was hoping for.
It's worth a shot. We got one more. Actually, we
It's
have two
your
more.
fur, dude.
Though, if you have the creature who goes with this, I would gladly take its flesh.
It's way back there.
Yeah, we only have.
If we tell you where it is that good enough for you?
I'm only glued to this plane while I'm in this circle.
But if we like moved your circle,
Like he looks unamused, and then Nicodemus turns around and he's like, "Yeah, let me just break it, and then he can just walk there. That's cool, right? Is that a good idea? We'll just let the demon out." And then the demon's like, "If you do break the circle, I will tell you what both items are." And he's like, "Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not." Shush.
shut up. Enough.
He's not amused at all. This is great.
The angriest girlfriend.
we could have been halfway to song home.
What are you talking about? Everybody's like sleeping and hanging out.
It's
Even
nighttime.
Mainen's there. Like
It's
he's got like a
nighttime.
fucking turkey leg, and
We're
he's
not
like,
leaving till the morning. This is nighttime festivities with the demon.
Not fast traveling anywhere, buddy.
Yeah, clearly.
he does have like a hand on like the head of his axe. He's just hanging out, chewing on stuff.
Is it any kind of life?
Indeed, it is a sacrifice of life.
Are there any small animals around
How would you know that?
with the nature?
Do it.
17.
Yes, there are 2 large horses right there. Aside from that, there are several birds, and you certainly hear the mating calls of elk and deer the entire way here. Several birds, squirrels, probably rodents somewhere in the fields.
Appolok,
What's up, fam?
you want some life? Let's give him some life. You're the one who's better at this. You got that +8.
The angry girlfriends come out of the tent. He's like, "Go kill a deer."
Or an elk. Whatever's closest.
You cannot carry an elk back single-handedly. Talking like a 1,500-pound
It's
animal.
not gonna help me. I know that.
No, he's already nature checked for you.
I'm ready
he's-
to
he's-
just get something.
He bought into this dumb idea.
Yeah, just come on. Let's just
You
get
have
it over
paid
with.
most of the gold price.
I can't help you with that,
No,
but I
you
can.
can help me
I
with
can
gold.
pay you with the life.
All right, let's go. Let's go kill something.
The addition of iron will grant you.
Is iron technically silver pieces?
The silver is gold, technically.
Yeah.
For this kingdom. He's asking for value, like worth. Like what you would consider like. He's asking for like 2 things that are valuable to 2 different societies, essentially.
All right, let's go bring him some life.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, it is
Sacrifice.
customary for if you were to go through Stygia, it is customary to put coins over your eyes, which is why it is known as the land of death and coin. So when he said this comes from Stygia, I will take the iron and gold price for it. He's basically just saying taking gold worth value things and whether items are value of coinage. When he says this came from the plane of death, so I will take a sacrifice of life for it.
All right, boys, go kill something.
I'm gonna go hunt.
Sure. He will say, "I will remain here for the next hour." And that is all the time you have. He looks at Bale and says, "I will not give you your gold back." Bale's like, "All right, well, I did like 90% of the work to find out what happens with the Kira, so
What is something valuable? 'Cause what?
everything that is on your character sheet that is not your character has value." You guys have already done
But-
this before with traders. Now you're just doing it with a demon.
Do my iron rations hold any value?
Yes,
to the demon?
probably a minor amount. It's not that they hold value to the demon; they hold value to your market.
What's my arming sword made out of?
Metal. It is certainly valuable. It is like
Well,
Super valuable.
it is. Yeah, swords are incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
I throw in my hand axe.
Sure, it hits the ground, like melts away, and he says that will suffice. I will give you an hour and a half. Find a sacrifice of life before we reconvene.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants blood for real answers.
Do you want it alive or dead?
Alive, you have to sacrifice it to me when it is here.
Got it.
You just need to wound it, then bring it here. That's all that's necessary.
Noted. Let's go.
All right.
So-
I'm sitting. I'm not going with you guys. I'm sitting with
Survival
Nicodemus.
checks. Either of you, one of you, both of you.
19.
That is a 6.
What'd you get?
I got a 19.
Roll me percentile. The D100.
That's good, right?
That and the
That
10-sided.
The
one
other
that was right
10-sided.
next to it.
Mhm.
There you go. Or just 009. Would that just be 9?
It'd be 9. You have 2 trails you can go after. You have found the trail of an elk. You think it
Was it
is small enough that it is. It's not a bull, and you think you have another trail that it is large enough it could be a buck. Go for the buck, or do you go for the female elk?
Reference?
No.
The ranger in you knows that the elk is worth more, but that also means that the elk is probably worth more to the ecosystem. If you were to track down and kill an older buck, then you would actually potentially be assisting the environment. If you were to track down a doe elk and kill it,
Go
you're
for
preventing
the
it from being able to mate newer bulls.
buck. Yeah, go for the buck.
All right, give me a stealth roll, and then give me a survival roll.
That
What's
was
your stealth roll?
8.
Okay. What is your survival roll?
$18.
Okay. You are not incredibly quiet, but you're not like pots and pans beating around in the bushes either. You are getting closer and maintaining its trail as well. So let's roll again.
14.
Okay, for stealth. All right, and what's the
well, for,
survival roll?
well, it's 20 added up.
Okay.
And then survival. That was 20, so 19.
All right. You see it. It is about 80 feet away. It is surrounded by several females. It is certainly an older buck. If you were to shoot from here in nighttime, you would take penalties, especially if you are trying to wound it. You would take a called shot penalty as well. You would want to get closer.
Yeah, I was closer to it.
Okay.
if it was restrained.
Yeah, I mean, he still takes penalties from this distance. So, I mean, no matter what, he's still this is even if it's restrained. Like, let's assume it's restrained right now because it's just like hanging out with some female doe, being like, "Hey, let me put my Peter inside you." Like, he's not doing a whole lot right now, just eating and hanging out. So while he's not restrained, he's certainly not like trying to move or dodge or anything. So Piccolo would have to get closer if he wants to actually make a shot.
Now we're playing our rock and rolls big game hunter.
Yep.
Yep.
You guys are doing a little side session of Monster Hunter.
All right.
Go
Roll
for it.
2d20. Take the highest one. This is your stealth roll.
Just him or both of you?
Want me to use yours?
Is he? What is your plan? Is
2d20.
your plan to go with him?
Yeah.
You will also need to roll stealth 2d20.
Okay.
You'll take the highest one.
Nat 20.
Okay. Total? Like that's your highest
It
roll?
was 10.
Okay.
This guy's getting close. And he's opening over there.
Both of the does take off. The buck seems to be looking around for you guys. You are within 40 feet. From this distance, you are still taking a called shot penalty. Do you choose to move closer?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. As you move closer, do you choose to move closer, Dan?
Probably 40 feet.
You have. I'm letting you know you guys have lost your stealth advantage.
I gotta do something. Oh, perfect. I'm gonna cast Entangle.
Okay. If you go to cast a spell with like lights and a visual component and all that other stuff, and you start talking, you're gonna roll initiative, and whoever rolls the fastest initiative decides where they are. So if you beat him, you've got him. But if he beats you, he's gonna jet 80 fucking feet in the opposite direction.
What do you want to do?
So do you guys want to roll a stealth roll, or do you guys want to try to roll initiative? He is the only person who gets a surprise initiative because he's just letting an arrow go. You have to
Wait, didn't you
cast
say I'm
a
getting
spell.
a penalty though?
You would get a penalty from this distance, but
What's,
but you don't have to roll initiative to hit or to try and attack him. I'm sorry.
what's the penalty?
The penalty is going to be, let's see, you are not within 30 feet. You have no light source. So, and if you were to called shot, you'd probably be minus 12 from this current distance.
So you need a good hit.
The one that's really killing you here is the like no light source and the if you were to move up an additional 10 feet, like your penalty drops significantly. If you have a spell that is a free action to cast, then it literally takes that long to do it. If you have a spell that costs a standard action, it takes approximately like 5 seconds. If you cast a full round action spell, it's like 10 seconds to cast. So,
Would speak with animals help me?
it would allow you to speak with the animal. But unless you have animal handling, you cannot prevent it from going anywhere. Well, you'll still have to talk to it and convince it not to go anywhere. And then you'll still be lining up a shot for your friend. Look at the druid being a dickhead. Hey, buddy. I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, you're a druid, you're friendly.
You can take
Okay.
it even further. Shapeshift into a doe and try to entice him.
You
Just saying.
I thought
just
about
saying.
it for a second, but I didn't want to say anything.
Just as an idea that you heard a whisper in the wind. Okay, shapeshift.
Are you
A wild shape into a doe.
you want to put yourself on the line?
The sexiest doe.
Sure.
I will buy you whatever.
It's happening.
Roll a stealth roll, Makolo.
Gonna fucking ruin
It's
it for me.
1d20 for you.
Why? Why do you have to say that?
Because I'm an asshole.
18.
There we go.
Okay.
Look at that.
It does not scatter when you turn into a doe, but is certainly perplexed and like hops back a bit, and also like digs its hooves into the ground in case you're hostile at first.
I play hard to get. I look uninterested.
You get to do a dating sim. You're welcome.
So I'm gonna kind of look at him. I'm gonna kind of do
We need to
the
make this.
look at him, and then I'm gonna go doe-eyed, and then I'm going
You
to.
gonna wink at him?
Roll animal handling. No.
Did you think this would happen in your D&D game?
That is a 22.
Okay.
You're welcome.
He's perplexed and is
Slightly aroused.
and is attempting to collect your scent.
Okay.
He's like smelling you because you do not smell like this area. Looks a little wary. The deer is positioned about 15 feet away from you. You get like a -5 to hit if you were to call it shot on its legs.
I use telekinesis. No, just kidding. Take the shot. Fucking 360 no scope this motherfucker, man. Come
All
on.
right, I'm gonna take the shot.
All right, roll 2d20. Take the highest one.
We should get it. We should get that.
Come on.
Dog bless.
Dog bless.
Dog bless.
18.
All right, total.
Well, 20. With
Okay.
the 2.
All right, 20 definitely hits. You're going to roll damage. It's just a regular d8 since he hasn't been damaged yet.
Please don't kill it.
Please don't not do enough damage either.
It's got enough hit points. Fuck, dude.
3.
3 plus
2.
Yeah.
so 5 points damage total. You hit it, and it is trying to squirm to get away, but is having some issues. You think you have another round to attempt to disable it or to kill it.
We're not gonna kill it.
I'm just letting you know what you see
How
as a
close am
ranger.
I?
You're within like 5 feet of it. It's like trying to smell you.
Is he like?
He's
his
like,
movement-
fuck, I have an arrow inside of me right
he
now.
But I
like
want to
in-
be.
I
inside
need
of
to
that
get
doe.
away.
Please no.
Can I?
How would you feel if you had an arrow inside of you?
Pretty bad, Jared.
It would so good if you like double one to just hit fucking Dan right in the face.
Just instantly killed
Oh
him.
dear!
I just wild shape out with a fucking arrow. What the fuck? I'm gonna come out of wild shape and try to tackle a big boy.
Okay, you roll me 2d20. Take the lowest.
I don't want to.
I don't know. If, I don't like that. I'm gonna use the one that I got the 20 on.
Now you're gonna get.
Wrecked.
And I have to take the lowest, huh?
That's correct.
Jared.
Well, what did you roll?
Nat 20.
And a.
7.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take the 7, big boy. You grab a hold of this fucking buck, and he's just like, "Hold on, big boy. I'm gonna take you for a ride."
I may be old, but
Uh,
I ain't dead yet.
You see your friend like, and then like hug
full,
it,
full size, by the way.
and then the deer was just like, "I'm just gonna take it." He's still like squirming to get away. He's only moved a few feet. What do you do?
And,
Shoot him.
No, then you're gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, I might kill it. Can I like run up and fucking cold clock it in the face?
Run up, run up and try.
Help me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking run up and hit it.
Okay, are you helping Dan try to take it to the ground, or are you running up and you're like, trying to like bash it in the face with a pommel.
You need to tackle it, dude.
Yeah, we'll just fucking tackle
You
that
need to just
bitch.
help
Okay.
tackle it.
All right. Roll a d20. Add your proficiency and your strength bonus, and that's it. Your proficiency is 2. Your strength bonus is. Let's look over here. It is +2, so roll 4. It's okay. It wouldn't have helped you very much.
12.
You grab a hold and tackle it as well, and with the assistance of your friend, you bring it to the ground. And you guys are subduing it, I assume, with like rope, hog tying it, and all that shit.
Get that shit out of your survival
Yeah, have a
kit.
survival
Yep.
kit.
Cool. You guys start like pulling it towards the camp,
Okay.
all that jazz.
You're welcome.
I
Yep.
love you. We bonded.
I doe-eye at you.
So you see these two idiots walk into camp with a fucking buck.
I look at the buck and I'm like, so what'd you do to take it down?
I don't want to talk about it.
And I just bat my eyes at him.
Well, clearly they shot it in the butt because it has an arrow sticking out of it. And hey, you guys like bring it over, and the demonic figure says, "That will do." Cut its throat, druid.
I don't have anything bladed. It's up to you, buddy.
He like takes a knife out and produces it and throws it to the ground in front of you. Cut its throat, druid.
I'm not going to do your dirty work for you. And I
Mm.
lead it into the circle.
When you start to lead it into the circle, Nicodemus is like, no. Well, first off, don't drag it across the ground at all, ever, because if you broach that circle, he gets free and he kills everything here and goes off on an Aurok rampage till the sun comes up.
Okay, what should I do?
I suggest you listen to it.
My sword, if you want. He threw it out.
Yeah, I don't want to touch whatever hot demon boy is playing with. So
Nicodemus will pick up the knife. Be like,
I like this guy more and more every time. I'm just like, oh, God.
Souvenir.
Yeah. That's gonna come in handy
Where'd this
next
come
time.
from, Granddad?
I have to
Whoa.
fucking look up my fucking Duolingo for fucking demonic language. Ah, shit. Claw 2 brought it. Okay, so, all right. I take it. Roll my eyes so heavily. I say,
I mean, you already tried to fuck
you
it.
went to seduce
Might
it.
as well kill it.
You already went to great lengths.
I put my hand on it and I say, may the goddess care for you in the next life. And
Yeah, Neighbor like freaks out and is like trying to screech and all that other stuff, and you guys feel bad, and the blood like hits the edge of the circle and kind of like melts in, and like the light around the demon like lights up like a crimson aura, then recedes. He's like, "Excellent. This was most entertaining."
in more ways than one.
Indeed.
I'm glad that Wild Shape brings everybody some. I was thinking about it.
We need to make that a shirt now.
Doe-Eye Dan.
Yep. He looks at the blade
See what I can
and
do.
says, That sword is known as Pride. It is a heavily enchanted, very powerful artifact. Created to bring any of your ambitions to fruition. And it will, provided you lack the wisdom of foresight. You will accomplish your goals. You will become the you wish to become. and you will lose a piece of yourself in the process. That, the Curus of the Final Embrace.
Final embrace.
Fuck me for taking notes, right? Who else knew about Maddox? Nobody.
Only the lore master.
Because I take notes like you're supposed to in fucking D&D. It's been a month and a half since we talked about this motherfucker.
You will be immune to most of the elements, especially those natural and unnatural to Aurok. And in the same vein, you will feel less impervious to that of magical fire. It was crafted between the bonds of Stygia and Rufus. So I feel you know that name already. I will not go into any more detail. It will allow you to connect to its home plane, as well as feel the fear in which those sacrificed for its creation felt when they were created to do so. The armor is absolutely for the fearless, those who do not fear death. Because death is whom you make a bargain with when you don it.
So I'm going to take a look over at Bale. Are these prices that you're comfortable?
Dale says, fuck yeah.
No question.
It is even more enchanted than the last item brought before me. Though if its creator dies, so do the magics. Pride will continue to show just that for all of its being.
So wait, when the bearer of the armor dies, it dies?
No,
Rufus.
when Rufus dies,
Dies. Oh.
the creator. Yep.
Man, he
Found
must
out
have
some
a
good
lot.
stuff. Bushy-tailed mother.
What?
And I'm still not interested in either of those items. So,
I mean, you already knew they were cursed. I'm not sure, like...
this is why I'm like, I don't need to know anymore because I'm just
I like to know stuff.
I don't want to pay the price.
The game lets
So,
me inspect an item. I'm fucking turning it upside down, getting all up in that shit.
I mean, that's fair. That's your prerogative.
And you helped me get there, so thank you.
You guys have probably already found the only magical item that's not going to come with a price in this whole entire adventure. And he's got it.
Hey,
What, the hammer?
No, the shield.
The shield.
Shield.
Yeah.
which I still don't know exactly what it does.
Well, the price is all well and good, but at this point in our adventure, I'm just gonna walk the sword over to Bale and hold it out and say, "This is your home. This is your price. If you want it, who am I to say no?"
And the armor?
Same. Unless you guys have any objections.
That armor sounded sweet until Rufus would die too if someone died while wearing it.
Well, no.
No. He
No.
just said
The
if Rufus ever
enchantment.
died, the enchantments would fall off.
Oh,
Yeah.
So then it just becomes regular armor.
It's still armor, but it's not.
Magic.
It lacks.
plus making the deal with the devil.
Yeah.
You didn't
not-
make a deal. Well, you guys already made the deal. It's done. The deal's concluded. He's just like, that's what it is, fam.
No, you said that you make a bond with a devil or on it.
You bond
With
with death.
It does.
I look at
And
you.
if I were anything else than a paladin, I'd be like, give me that shit now.
Fucking wear the fuck out of it. I don't give a shit.
I hand it to you.
There you go.
Cool. Hold my hookah, fam. All right.
You gonna put it on right now?
We're going in the battle, right?
He dons it.
We're going in the battle tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna wear it to sleep. Get used to it.
Roll me D100.
Motherfucker.
He puts it on and fastens it. And
That's
everything.
both, right?
Yep, that's both. Let me know what you roll.
Dude, I'm just getting excited.
There you go. This is fun.
This is great.
Fun.
This
It's
is
super
great.
fun. I'm just irritated.
So a 9 and 30.
9 and what?
36.
36. All right. What is your constitution?
Nicolas Cage. Where is it?
Tom Hanks.
Actually, I have it
4.
right here.
Yep, it's right over there. Constitution 19.
Oh,
Awesome.
There.
You're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna don this armor and I'm gonna be a badass. And you like take 2 steps forward towards the druid and you're like, see, I don't give a fuck. And then you feel your heart like palpitate. Like it like skips a beat and then it beats twice really quickly. And then it stops. And you guys see Appolok's eyes go white as he like falls to his knees. And then like chest just hits the fucking ground.
Oh wait, I gotta roll my eyes up into my head. There you go. That's what I look like right now.
Does Nicodemus have anything to say about this?
The demon starts like, you fucking idiots. And he's like, this has been rad, Nick. I'll see you guys like next week. And, like flames erupt and he disappears. Nicodemus like fucking runs over and is just like, oh my God, wake up. And like Bale's like, he like rolls over Appolok and is like slapping his face. And you just you like wake up in a bed. And it looks kind of familiar. You're in the Tower of Chaos in Rufus's bed. No, you're like wearing what you wore, even the armor. And you like get up, and you see through the doorway. Rufus is out there on the patio, just like reading, smoking a hook. Got like a plate of eggs next to him. I don't know.
A little bit of bacon.
Yep, eating some boiled eggs.
Some OJ.
He like looks
chalky
over.
milk.
Ah, I was wondering who would join me here. Wondering who had the resolve
Oh hi, Mark.
to don the armor. I did not expect you to.
Well, the other two were pussies.
It's literally not in my character to touch that thing.
Yeah, it's all good. I know.
It's unnatural.
Says the druid who just sacrificed a deer to find out what it is.
Says the paladin who is okay with the demonic
Yeah,
presence.
the demon being summoned by the warlock.
Us filthy humans.
Yep.
Always got to be,
Interesting.
always driven by lust and greed.
From the Tower of Chaos, you hear me going, fucking idiot, from 100 miles away.
You've made the ultimate sacrifice in donning it. You don't need to fear that sacrifice anymore. Now we're bonded of sorts. It'll be interesting to watch you grow. If you ever need any advice or wish to unlock more of the armor's power, I will be here in the city when you are done. And he like walks up, like touches your forehead, and then your eyes like roll back out of the inside of your brain, and like you just blink and everybody's standing over you. You like see all these guys around you. He was clinically dead. Dead AF. Super dead.
I would know this with my +6 medicine.
Yeah,
I would know this by the fact that he didn't fucking move and his head was.
Yes.
His eyes were in the back
For
of his
real
fucking
or
head.
not?
expert. Calm down.
I'm a holy man, and I haven't seen shit like this before.
He did.
Uh,
I love the odd couple of you being like on eye level with him when he's on the ground, and me being like super huge. And I'm just like, he did.
He did.
what do you guys say? Appolok just goes.
Exactly what would happen.
I'm gonna.
That's like verbatim what
I
happens.
just started,
He
I
goes,
just started yelling at him.
and
like,
then he belches.
What just happened?
I was back at the tower.
I'm gonna take your pulse. Do I feel anything different? Is it normal?
It feels very different than normal.
Okay.
Do I
You're
have
having
a pulse?
trouble capturing one.
No, I don't have one. Dead.
But like, how do you feel?
Your armor class. What is your what's your dex bonus?
4.
Yeah.
Your AC is currently a 20.
Fuck. You literally can't fear death.
I'm already dead.
You also feel very comfortable in this 20, 17, 18 degree weather right now. You don't
Yeah,
feel
he's-
anything.
he's fucking-
What was left on the ground, you see these green shadows like all around, swirling with like little flecks of black fire around the circle where a demon used to be.
Am I the only one that sees that?
If you are the only person who sees that, or rather, if you're not, then the rest of the people around you seem unfazed. You feel confident, and like there's a confidence that occurs like when you can inspire heroism in other people. There's a feeling of confidence when you can inspire your team, inspire your comrades or your army. You have the opposite effect. Like you feel like you inspire a lack of confidence in your enemies. And that's what makes you confident. His eyes are a light blue, by the way.
Mine right
Yeah.
now. Is there anything else different about me?
Noticeably
Like
paler.
as he has my skin paler,
No.
hair change,
Nope.
my eyes.
Just his eyes.
But Aragorn with pale blue eyes is. So I'm going to verbalize. Like, he's not alive. At least as far as I can tell.
Aiden like stands up, like walks over, and he's like, "Well, it's been a cute shit show." He looks at you and says, "It took real guts to do what you did. I can't tell if you're stupid or brave. But whatever this is," and he like knocks on it. He's like, "I hope it helps in the battle ahead." Bale's like, "If somebody would like this sword." I don't know if I quite feel up for using it at the moment.
I mean, you heard the demon. It'll make you everything you want to be.
And I think at Songholm, I might take you up on that offer.
I'm going to strap it to my back.
Sure.
And say, when the time is right, call for it.
Understood. I'm going to go to bed.
Until then, I'm
This
going
has
to go
been
the
a-
fuck to sleep.
It's been a
And I'm going to look dead ass at you.
I hope my eyes like
He's gonna
glow
look
because I'm gonna
dead ass
sleep.
at you
I'm gonna
'cause he's
sleep in the
dead.
tent with you and just have my eyes open. Fucking night lights.
So you guys kind of bed down for the evening. Weird enough, you don't feel the need to sleep. You feel like you could if you wanted to, but you don't have to.
That's a 9.
Well, with this armor, it's no.
Yeah,
It doesn't do that.
Don't buff everything. Everything's a 20 all of a sudden.
Well, nobody else put it on.
Enjoy being.
If
I
there
mean,
was
it's-
any character out of the group of people that play this fucking campaign, it was gonna be you that was gonna put that shit on,
Or Eugene.
or Eugene.
I don't see. No, Eugene
Or
would
Porky.
get spooked. Maybe Dickin.
Porky would have fucking donned it in a
Yeah.
second.
I don't know about Eugene.
Like, the only thing that turned him away from it is when I was like, pretty sure it's cursed. But, like, you guys walked into my game knowing that most heavily magical items are cursed in some way or
Guess
another.
what? I guess since I'm already dead, whatever Flowers wants, you can't get it from me.
We're gonna send you to go talk to Flowers.
Okay, let's fucking kill him.
That would be interesting.
So back to Valkia. We know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, time to turn
Well,
in.
when we're done with everything, I'd like to go back and speak to Rufus again.
I'm gonna properly return the buck.
Sure.
Gonna take a few minutes.
Yeah. You can definitely find a good ground for scavengers to take it apart. Aside from that, what time is it?
Just
11:43.
We should find a stopping point. You guys wake up the next morning, pretty well rested. You feel like the most well rested you felt in months. I don't even know if you slept or not. It's up to you. I don't care. You tell me.
Probably not. Probably getting used to
Sure.
whatever this new found
You guys like
not me is.
walk out in the morning, and Appolok's just by the fire hanging out. You can eat if you want to too, but you don't really feel a hunger. Yeah. Yeah, just write down Curus of the Final Embrace under armor.
Eat your heart out, Diablo, with cooler sounding shit.
Appolok's eyes are not a light blue. They're back to whatever they were before. Green or brown? I don't know if you filled
Negative.
it out. Well, if he looked like Aragorn, they were brown. Now he looks like he's brown-eyed, brown-haired dude, just hanging out, making bacon, chilling out next to the fire. Went to bed last. Woke up early.
How are you feeling?
Indifferent? Weird. Like, I didn't really sleep, but I don't feel tired. But I feel like just fine, like well rested.
I'm gonna check him out. Do an exam on him.
Sure, you start like poking and prodding him. You're you think you get a faint pulse, but it's faint, like. And then there's a blast beat.
I was going for like
Anyway,
No, it's something's there. Not sure what it is.
I'm gonna keep an eye on you because it kind of sounds like you're coming back a little bit. So keep an eye on how you're feeling. It's all very strange. Okay. So I'm gonna sit down.
Cool.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down at breakfast with this little nugget.
One of the knights like walk out and sit down and start eating breakfast, and they just kind of like look at you while they're eating, and like they look over at like the runes in the sand, look back at you, and just keep eating.
So
about last night.
about last night,
Yeah, you nearly got fucked by a buck.
you weren't even there.
I can smell the shame on you. You had that walk of shame.
When you entered the camp with your boots in your hand.
And on that note, that's where the sitcom ends.
That's right.
Ba-dam, ba-ba-dam.
Manon gets you guys up and gets you guys back on the road. And he does not stop for another 2 days. Because of a wagon, a couple extra horses. You guys take turns riding the horses, but he does not stop. You do not feel tired or hungry at any point
Probably keep up with me. And
in these 2 days.
While we do this, just as a side note, I'm going to wild shape into a war horse.
Sure. Are you carrying anybody?
Yeah, carry these fools.
You will need to wild shape into a pony to carry him.
A pony?
He physically cannot climb onto a war horse.
Can't I just like put him up?
You
I'm a
could,
big-
but
I'm a-
he's
I'm a
still
thick boy.
he's just like it's probably not very comfortable. Like
Strap him
All right,
down?
well,
At that
you,
point, I'd rather
I
just
can.
walk.
Don't worry about me. I
you
can
do
walk.
what you do. I'm going to turn into a pony so we can ride.
Pony boy.
he like turns into a pony and looks back and goes, "Ride me."
Do you look like
I
a-
can't
like,
speak
that's
in wild
weird.
shape.
Do you look like Cole Sebastian?
I look like Tiny Seabiscuit.
Yep.
I look like the pony from from Clerks 2.
You're still fairly. You two are both going to be fairly exhausted by the time you get to Songholm, unless there's some kind of spell that you can cast to make fatigue go away.
I can make myself move faster
Can like put the armor on you
with
for a
less
second.
effort.
I mean, you'll still be tired after 2
Yeah.
days of no sleep. It's a sleep issue, not a.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I just want us to keep up with a little bit less.
I mean, you guys keep up for sure, and I mean, it helps out Chris's character too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make
I'll-
him make
I'll do
fatigue
it.
tests or anything like that. Not that I think I would have to. What's your constitution?
15.
Yeah, he probably passed pretty readily. And so would you, for that matter, especially because you can just transform into a load-bearing animal.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are mentally tired and definitely feel physically exhausted, but it's it's going to affect your mental faculties more than your physical ones. Manon seems a little tired, but for the most part, like whatever. The other two dragoons were able to sleep on their horses, so they seem somewhat rested while they were walking. Basically, one led the other while the other guy slept on the other horse, and then they took turns kind of doing that. So
Can I sleep on Pony Boy?
well, you can try to catch some Z's on the pony. Alternatively, Manon is going to like let you guys climb up in the wagon and like catch some Z's there. It's just not ideal because there's no shocks in this timeline. So, and you're every bump feels like you're getting hit in the head with a rock. But you are able to get some sleep. It's just not a full. Nobody feels well rested by the time you reach Songholm.
Right.
Except for this guy.
Yeah, you feel great.
Fucking walk for another 2 days.
That's right. In those 2 days, he shows no signs of change or anything. So as far as you can tell. That said, you guys will both see and eventually smell the fires in Songholm. And as you guys approach the castle, or approach the city, we will leave it there. So you guys have come down from fairly elevated land to gently above sea level. And Songholm kind of exemplifies that, where it's very well nested into kind of this inlet. Calm down, Nicodemus.
Not that Nicodemus.
Yep.
He needs a like a little cloak and like a little demon dagger.
Yeah, you
That
guys
little-
do see
little
like
Duolingo
Nicodemus
app.
like pull out this sweet little dagger, and he like picks his teeth with it a little and starts like studying it. He like puts it in his bag.
Takes it
Got
out
it.
again, puts it back in.
Yeah, examines it. Whatever.
Flips it from one hand.
He seems pretty happy
Should have been
with
my
his steel. Yep. Whatever. You're wearing bone
I'm
armor.
sitting here thinking that demon is fucking stupid to ask for iron and then give iron right back. Just like, here you
Oh.
go, here's a fucking dagger.
He didn't care. Like the costs That's the thing is so if you were to like summon a real demon from a different realm, well, depending on the demon you summon. So the demon that you summoned is not technically a demon. It's just an extraplanar force from the hedge who has power over dominions. And it's somebody that Nicodemus has made a pact with for power. And like he said, like that dude could have asked for like pineapple or teeth or like balloons or like you guys to dance naked. Like he could have asked for anything because there's no telling with the hedge. Yeah. He could have been like, I will only identify these items if you perform. Sayson, show me your booty hole. And then I would have made all 3 of the party members sing that song.
I think only we know that.
That's true. All right, guys, we will call it there. There is enough experience for you all to level up to level 4.
Yes. Let's do it.
How much experience is level 4? 2100?
Handbook. Give you the specific amount. $2,700. Level 4, your proficiency bonus is still 2.
Damn.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought it transitioned to 3 at level 4. Nope. All right, so let me do some rough calculations now that you guys are level 4.
You get an ability score.
Yeah, me too.
Dan, if you would like to write down your experience points, I will tell them to you.
Sure.
You are at 5,500 experience points. Chris and Mikolo, you are at 4,500.
Oh boy.
Through no fault of your own.
What do I do to get extra experience?
You've been at every game. You literally got a participation trophy. Is there anything D&D or metavillains related that we would like to discuss before we end tonight's stream?
We're going to be posting to YouTube again.
Yep.
So I'll probably pull this stream in the next couple of days and upload it to YouTube so that way there's a better place to check out a VOD
I
if
agree.
you can't watch this live.
Yeah, we definitely need to
Yeah,
get
it's
all
not
of our episodes of Aurok up there. What did we name tonight's episode, by the way?
Force your way.
What is it?
Because it was episode 8, like Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah.
So force your way.
Okay.
Like the boss battle song.
Yep. You guys never get to name another episode alone. Anyway, it has been rad having you guys here with us. Thank you for joining into the Metavillains Aurok and Roll. I don't know. This isn't a podcast. It's a live D&D session, I guess. I've been your DM, Jared Dark. And you can find me as Jared is Enraged on both Twitter and Instagram. And of course, check us out on the Metavillains Twitch, YouTube, and on Facebook. And joining me from my right to my furthest right, I was like, we have
Makolo, MTBS. Instagram is just Makolo. I deleted Twitter. 'Cause
why
It's retarded. I don't know. I'm gonna start a new
No.
one. I just need a new name.
you need to.
So
The only social media I care about now.
I know.
fucking lost
I
interest
see
in
so
it.
many like magic related stuff on
Yeah.
my feed now because it's always like Jared
Sorry.
Rage likes.
Jared and Patrick.
My bad.
Well, no,
More
Patrick
him
does
than
more league
Patrick.
stuff or whatever. So
Patrick
Twitter
likes
coming
weird
soon.
stuff.
I gotta just do a new one.
And then we have
So, my name is Daniel.
that's all I got.
I
Move on,
have
please.
I'm the Danimal33 on Instagram and on Pubbage. and Steam. So, and roll Critical Fit on everything. Check out Critical Fit online and on Amazon. Crazy.
Yeah, it's on Amazon now. Hi, I'm Chris. You're in my house right now.
So please get out.
Please leave. Every social media is I am the Neckbeard. Have my own personal stream, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Don't really post too much on all that stuff, but that's where you can find me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.